sad thing. Helps us with our freedoms and continue to make sure that we live in a free country. Again, you can make some money, whether that's a side job, whether that's working at a range full time. I've got some of my partners are the training directors of huge businesses, and that's awesome. If you have a passion for this, you might want to pursue that. Aha moments for when we're teaching our students and when we are telling them something and what we tell them just makes sense and they just look at you like, wow, this person's got all the answers. Love those aha moments. Owning your own business gives you some tax benefits. You know, I'm not suggesting we have tax shelters or anything or do anything sketchy, but being your own business person and having your own business does help you out with that. You get discounts. Certain companies offer instructors discounts on their gear and their swag, which is really, really cool. And so that could be another benefit. But again, wanting to help people be better protectors of themselves and their families is a really awesome thing. And it's real rewarding, I have to say. It can be difficult, it can be scary at times, but it is a really rewarding field to be in. Let's get a little bit high-level overview of our USCCA programs. I'm also NRA certified. I've got these other credentials today because I work for Delta Defense in the USCCA. Obviously, I'm going to stick with the USCCA, but there are many other pathways and journeys you can go on. So for today, we're going to stick with the USCCA's journey. High-level overview. These top three are going to be our in-person instructor courses. Concealed Carry Home Defense Fundamentals, Defensive Pistol Program, and AR-15 Fundamental are our in-person instructor courses that you have to take with a training counselor in person in class. Underneath that, we have some of our extra subcurricula that we offer that goes along with these certifications that I'll tell you guys a little bit about and how you can leverage those in your businesses. So let's start with Concealed Carry and Home Defense Fundamentals. We're going to talk about how you get certified. We're going to talk about why you would want that, and then what all you to get to know what you do. What most people do with this program is they use it to teach concealed carry permits all over the country. So we have folks using this credential to become state permit instructors. Some states you don't have to apply with the state to get an instructor certificate. That's okay too, but this helps them get that, and this is for the most part what instructors use CCHDF for. This is a wonderful program. The main lessons of this are lessons 1 through 7. There are all kinds of other sub-classes that you can do with this. We have a real estate agent safety seminar. We have a mental health and wellness seminar that you can do. Once you become certified as a Concealed Carry and Home Defense Fundamentals instructor, you're then able to access the extra sub-curricula that we offer and become certified in those as well without having to take in-person training, which we'll go into in just a second here. Next up is our newest program, Defensive Pistol Program. This is a 3-day in-person course, live fire course. This is awesome. This was designed to help people learn with motor learning, coaching on the line, helping correct errors in real time with students. It's got 5 different modules, ranging from fundamentals of defensive marksmanship all the way to clearing malfunctions and single-handed shooting. This is our newest program. It's really, really awesome. This is designed to be taught as a course of instruction, getting students back and taking more courses instead of just once and done. Horrifying statistic out there in the real world, 92% of gun class attendees or gun class students do not take a second course. So think about that. Only 8% of people taking classes come back for more. A permit class is not enough. They need to take extra courses, and that's what this is set up for, and it breaks it down in a really easy progression to build on reps, build on skills. It's a really, really awesome program. Next up, our next live fire curriculum is the AR-15 Fundamentals course. This is another 3-day instructor course, helping people understand how to use these tools. So that's home defense, whatever the case may be. We have range time with this class, There's a classroom portion. We talk about AR zeroing, drills and skills, use and operation. Everything that somebody going into the gun store and purchasing this type of firearm needs to defend themselves. So really great course. Teach this pretty often. It's really awesome. Okay. Once you become certified in our first curriculum, concealed carry and home defense, you can purchase extra sub-curricula like emergency first aid fundamentals. You pay for the instructor toolkit, you go through some e-learning, and then you're able to teach it. With this particular program, I have a bunch of Navy that will use this to teach the emergency trauma treatment that they learn in the military. They will bring that to civilians. They make a good living doing it. This is really good information. Michael Martin, the author of this program, is a fire captain, so his whole jam is treating medical emergencies. We break this down into several different mini courses. A couple of new ones, Control the Bleed and Restart the Heart, are really awesome. Something to be aware of with this particular program, this is not a CPR card licensing or certification class. We teach the same skills as CPR. However, if somebody is seeking a CPR certification, they would need to see the American Red Cross or American Heart Association. But this course will give folks the skills they need to be able to save themselves or a loved one. And I always tell my instructor courses this: the chances of me having to solve a problem with my trauma kit are far greater than the chances of me having to solve a problem with a firearm or pepper spray in my lifetime. Because people use chainsaws, we use drills, I don't know, table saws, whatever the case may be. People drive cars, and where we're at here in Atlanta, we drive pretty fast and dangerous, which is kind of nuts. So you might need to have these skills to help save people. This is a great course. Next up is Marksmanship Simplified. Again, another e-learning course only that you can add to that Concealed Carry and Home Defense Fundamentals curriculum. This is really cool. It's developed by George Harris. If anybody's ever heard of Sig Sauer Academy, he pretty much started that way back in the day. George's philosophy on teaching is keep it simple. And so that's what we're doing with this program here, is to leverage students' natural abilities and streamline the teaching process just to help them and keep it simple, easy to understand. Helps to save time. This is really great for correcting shooting errors and all the coaching that goes along with being a firearms instructor. That way we get those aha moments and we can help those students be successful. Another e-learning program. It's really awesome. We have a range safety officer program. I have many ranges all over the Southeast that will put their employees through this program. This, too, is an e-learning based program. It takes about 5-6 hours-ish to go through on the computer. This focuses mainly on the proficient use of handguns. It's not going to go over all the other things as some other range safety officer programs go over, so we're going to stick with handguns. This also has a certificate, so again, ranges I work with will use that certificate to help with their insurance costs, because now they have these certified range safety officers. This is a really cool program. Highly recommend it. Again, we have lots of partners that use this. My wife, my lovely wife, Beth Alcazar, wrote our Women's Handgun and Self-Defense Fundamentals. We teach a lot of this because I'm married to the author. It's broken down in a couple of different levels. We have women's basic, women's intermediate, and then a women's defensive handgun course. It's easy to understand, easy to follow, really easy to teach. And women are a huge growing demographic in the firearm industry, and they're willing to learn. I mean, that's the bottom line. They're willing to take classes. They don't mind. They know what they don't know, and they want to fix that. So we teach a whole lot of these classes. It is one of the best classes, easiest classes to teach. I have partners and instructors who are using the women's basic class format to teach all of their students because it is easily taught and is wonderfully laid out. Some of the topics we'll go through with this class is situational awareness, safe gun handling, marksmanship fundamentals. There's advanced marksmanship, so it's a wonderful course. Again, e-learning based. Once you go through the e-learning, after you purchase your instructor toolkit, you get to then have access to the PowerPoints and teach these classes. Again, my wife Beth wrote our children's Firearms and Safety Fundamentals course. That's my son right there. That's awesome. Great course. She did a great job. Some of this is laid out to families and adults, adult-centered learning. The majority of this course is for teaching kids. And you can see on my slides here all the different topics that we cover in these mini classes, accident prevention all the way to situational awareness. We have taught this to a homeschool group of 25 kids. We ran them through the entire process. At the end of the course, we did a shooting camp with them, and that was the most fun, most exhilarating, call it shooting camps, that I have done as an instructor, because they're all eager to learn. They don't have any bad habits. It was just it was an amazing program. So real proud of this one. This is a great course. Before I get into instructor versus USCCA partner, I just want to kind of explain the hierarchy a little bit of becoming an instructor. So as a regional training manager, I've been gifted with the title of senior training counselor. Okay, so you have senior training counselor, you have training counselors. The training counselor's job is to teach instructor courses. So that's kind of the hierarchy. As a regional training manager, I'm a training counselor in all of these programs. We have loads of training counselors all over the United States that help certify instructors. So again, my level, senior training counselor, I teach the teachers who teach the teachers. Then we have the external training counselors who are all over the place, and then we have the instructor level. The instructor level, it could be permit classes, it could be defensive shooting fundamental classes, it could be AR classes, anything that the instructor wants to teach that they're passionate about, you get to do that. We say our curriculum is really modular, so you get to use pieces of our curriculum in what you're currently offering and leverage that as much as possible to make it about you helping your people, not what we tell you to do. So we have a lot of success with that. It works really, really well. Real proud of it. Let's talk about the difference between an instructor and a USCCA official partner as we go through this high-level overview. You can teach independently USCCA curriculum, any curriculum you want, as much as you want. Make money doing it, bridge that gap. If you're just getting out of the military, if you're looking for something to do, maybe you're between careers, maybe you want to do, you were in for a very long time and you're sick of it and you want to do something else entirely and you just want to have an extra side hustle, and this is a great extra side hustle. I have a lot of people doing that. Teaching on your own, being an independent instructor is a great goal. You can do that. If you teach enough, and you have a big enough book of business, it might make sense for you to partner with the USCCA. If you're interested in that, I do have a QR code in this presentation to help you click on and get some resources and more information about that, because I don't quite have the time to go into a whole lot of detail about it here. Some of the benefits of becoming a partner. So you're teaching classes, you're getting a bunch of students, you're winning, you're feeling good, lots of people are coming. Some of the benefits are you get extra money. Money's a cool thing. So as a partner, you are eligible to get some extra monetary benefit from having a USCCA account executive, one of our lovely and highly trained, awesome sales folks, to come into your class and talk to your group. There's other ways of getting extra money as part of an official partner. We can help you gain students. So like I said earlier, if you have no students, what you're doing is marketing and advertising. Now, when you finally have students, now you're an instructor. So the USCCA, can help you do that with the various marketing forms that we have and get the word out that you're a really awesome instructor and that you're changing lives. I'm going to leave this up here. This is how to, actually, you know what, let me come back to that. So since I just talked about the partner program, scan this QR code. I'll leave it up here for just a second, so that you can get more information about this. Add that extra revenue, get additional customers, because we're all facing that. We all have to do that. And then, of course, expanding your class offerings. Okay, let's talk about how to get certified. There's another QR code for those of you who are interested. You can scan that if you're in the TV land. Get your camera up. There are loads of our external training counselors all over the country. If I don't get to teach you myself, we have loads of highly qualified, really passionate people teaching these courses. You'll take the class with them. You'll get your certification, which you can then turn into the states that accept our curriculum. You can start, in some of the states, you can just start teaching, offering permit classes. You get a toolkit with that. Really cool stuff. Currently, the USCCA has over 8,000 instructors actively teaching, not just existing and paying money and just being inactive. We have 8,000 active instructors, over 2,600 active official partners, and our curriculum is currently recognized in 43 states. And we are constantly adding more to that and working on that. This gives you extra opportunity for revenue. So if you're considering this, maybe a side hustle, maybe a career, and you're going to go at this full time, I'm going to give you guys some tips and some pointers on, now that you're certified, what the heck do you do now? One of the most difficult parts of this whole process is finding a range to work at, whether that's an outdoor range or an indoor range, because a lot of them don't want outside instructors coming in to, quote unquote, steal their business. If you're going to go down this journey as a career, side job, working with a range or finding a range that you can teach at will be a huge step in the process. You'll also need to consider instructor insurance. You will definitely need to get instructor insurance. We offer, the USCCA offers Delta Shield to help instructors who are teaching firearms classes. Again, you can use those QR codes. You can call instructor support at that the number on that previous slide. I'll put it up here for you again. 1-800-674-9779. You can ask them for more details about what that is. Once you get those things, your next hurdle is going to be getting students to listen to you and to pay you money. You can do that on your own, or we can help you do that. You're able to, as a USCCA instructor, post all of your classes on our website for free. And people do check it out. We do get people on that website, loads of people. It's not like a Google thing, you know, obviously, because Google's huge, but people find our classes, and it's free to use. I have a quick story to tell for everybody here about why we're doing this. I was working with a range in Florida, and they were about to teach a permit class. This is real. This is true to life. So this gentleman comes into the class, and I just had to ask him, "Sir, why are you here? Why today did you decide this was the day that you were getting your permit?" He was getting a Florida permit. And this guy said to me, he said, "Well, you know, I'm 24, and I was at the park the other day. Bear attacked my dog." And I said, "Wait a minute. Your dog was attacked by a bear in Florida?" He said, "Yeah, black bear attacked my dog." "So you're here for bear defense?" And he said, "Yeah, I guess I am." And I told him, that is the most Florida man thing I've ever heard in my entire life. He was there not for a permit to concealed carry his firearm. He was there to save his dog with a firearm. Here's the thing, though, that people don't understand, and this is
I love helping out veterans just because I've been in their shoes. It really does like make you forget about some of the stuff you're going through for an hour or 2, 3 hours.
You know, there were a lot of things that were missed, birthdays, holidays. So it's sort of a reward for everything that you had to give up previously.
It's hard to be able to take your family anywhere. Like the costs involved and sort of all of those barriers, they kind of remove that barrier and allow you and your family to kind of meet and do something out and just cool experiences.
I've seen the Islanders, I saw Taylor Swift, I saw Kenny Rogers.
I would not be able to go to these events if it wasn't for Vet Tix. You know, being middle class, kind of, work paycheck to paycheck like so many Americans do.
Vet Tix opened up a whole new world for me for the time that I've been able to spend with my daughters. We go to different concerts, different plays, different musicals, comedy shows, real good father-daughter bonding experiences.
As a single mom, it gives me the opportunity to take my daughter and her 2 friends to experience an awesome live event that I don't think they would have got to experience otherwise.
We're from Reno, Nevada. Coming down to the Sharks game, that's a treat. I can't afford to come to all these things. It's great that Vetrix throws tickets out to veterans and get us to come out and see other veterans and thank them as well as be out with them and their families as well. So it's a lot of fun.
I was never really the easiest.
Tell you a story. Ja, Regan Hawthorne's, yeah. Billigan is slink, Kintlachini, Basashin. Now, I introduced myself to you in the Navajo language, telling you, first of all, my name, and then what clan I'm from. And we name our clans in the maternal fashion first. Navajo society is a maternal society. My mother's clan is Anglo, Billigana. She's Anglo. My father's clan is Red House clan, Kintlachini. I'm here today to tell you a story. My family has a storied legacy of military service, and as such, we like to, at every opportunity, relate what this country is about, what our patriotism means, where it comes from, and how deep it runs. I've had 2 uncles that were in the United States Army. Both of them were paratroopers. One uncle was killed in Vietnam with the 101st Airborne Division. He was ultimately awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. I'm the son of Roy Hawthorne, who was a Marine Navajo code talker in World War II. He also served with the United States Army as a paratrooper in the Korean War. As a youngster, I grew up in a very organized, disciplined home, understanding that my father had some military background. And I stress that some military background because the only way that I really became aware of his military background was as a youngster when I discovered that my father had only one leg. And so that's something that's kind of hard to hide and hard to cover up. And so he had to explain to me that during his tour in Korea with the United States Army, he was victim to mortar shelling and he lost his leg. And that was the extent of my awareness, my knowledge of my father's military background. Knowing nothing of his Marine experience, knowing nothing of the code talker experience, knowing only that he lost a leg in Korea when he was in the Army. I pretty much made a commitment then that I would follow that path. And my life's goals at that time were to join the Army, become a sergeant, and jump out of airplanes. And that's what I did.
I don't know, but I think I might. I don't know, but I think I might. Jump from an aircraft while in flight. Jump from an aircraft while in
I enlisted in the United States Army to become a paratrooper. I enlisted in January of 1973. There at the Airborne Jump School, at the home of the infantry, we learned all of the techniques, all of the apparatus, all of the physical requirements needed to become a paratrooper. In week 3 of our time there, we finally got to go get in an airplane, take off, and jump out. In some cases, the guys had to be pushed out. They became very frightened, let's say, and they didn't want to leave the aircraft. But we all understood that once we got in that aircraft and took off, there was only one way out of that aircraft. So in the 3rd week, we did our jumps, and then midway through that week, we finally were awarded our prized and cherished novice parachutist wings. And the 82nd is considered to be America's Guard of Honor. And in keeping with that, there's 2 things that have to occur. One is consistent training, and the other is consistent readiness. The 82nd Airborne is required to be anywhere in the world where the United States has a conflict to protect within 18 hours of notice. And that requires a lot of readiness, a lot of training. So between the fall of 1973 through the training periods and the different deployments for specified training, whether it be into Panama for jungle expertise, jungle survival training, or whether it be up into the snowy mountains of Camp Drum, New York for cold weather survival training, cold weather experience, or whether it be into the desert environment of places such as Fort Hood, to become engaged and familiar with all these types of training. Those were some of the things that took up the early years of my Army career. People take cruises today to go to Alaska and see all the pretty sights. And we were there. We were positioned for a couple of days up on a mountaintop, trying to stay warm, trying to keep the equipment operating in those sub-zero temperatures. And I remember being up on a mountaintop where we could actually, as artillerymen, follow visually the rounds from the time they left the tube to the time they impacted the target. And this is what's called adjusting fire, where the forward observer sights a target and determines the grid coordinates on a map and transmits those grid coordinates to a fire direction center at the firing battery. The fire direction center then translates those grid coordinates to firing data for a gun. And the gun chief then checks the data, checks all of the ammunition to make sure that everything is right, and then they fire. After maybe 4 rounds, maybe 5 rounds of adjusting by a base piece firing gun, then the forward observer calls for what they call fire for effect. All of the power from 6 guns in that firing battery are brought to bear on that target. And as you might imagine, it's a pretty awesome view when you bring 6 guns to bear on one target with high explosive rounds. So everything being gelled together, you now have 6 guns putting high explosive rounds on the target, and then in comes the air support to drop their ordnance on the target. And it's just simply amazing. And I remember from that hilltop one day watching that purple smoke rise up from about 5 miles away down in the valley. And we knew that the aircraft were coming because we had smoke in the tube. When we sent that smoke down range and we saw that purple smoke hit, all 6 of our gun personnel literally visually did a 180, turning about to watch the aircraft coming in. And we saw the fighters coming, and when they flew overhead, we couldn't turn our heads quick enough to track them. But we caught up with them right when they were dropping their ordnance on the target, and the purple smoke, the balls of flame, really reminded one of how devastating war can be, and the real cost of war. Had this not been a training exercise, whoever that target would have been completely annihilated. And that's very sobering that we're here in this basically sanitary environment, but we're ready to do this when called upon, and this is the damage that it can bring.
South Korea's capital, Seoul, on an air raid practice day. In the minds of the people here, the fear of a full-scale war grows day by day, fed by the collapse of South Vietnam.
In the early part of 1976, I received orders to go to Korea. And at that time in history, there was a great degree of tension between the forces of democracy and the forces of communism. There had been a killing of a United States Army service member there at the demilitarized zone. I think that particular action occurred about a week before I arrived in South Korea. I remember flying into the airport. We flew commercial, but about 45 minutes out of Seoul, I noticed on either flank we had fighter escorts. And so that kind of alerted me that something is important here. And when we landed then, of course, there was a very, very high presence of United States military police, and we had an escort from Seoul up to my assignment, which was about 45 minutes north of Seoul, about, I guess, probably about an hour south of
Soundstripe. Soundstripe. All right, we are live. I think we're live. Yeah, I believe so. So we're here to talk about something very important, and it's not talked about enough. Deployment is very tough on the families. If you've had a loved one that deployed, or if you yourself have deployed, you know that this could be tough on the service member, but very, very tough on the family. And tough on the little ones. If you have kids that are very young, that they see mommy or daddy that go and deploy and leave for 6 to 15 months at a time, and they don't know what's going on. So I believe you guys have come up with a solution, your son has come up with a solution to this problem. Tell us who you are.
So we are mom and dad to our son Matthew, who he has been in the Navy for 16 years. And currently he's deployed in school up in Rhode Island. And he found out about this conference and asked us if we would attend. So that's why we're here. And yeah.
What's the company? What company are you representing here?
So we are representing My Hero. It's a recordable doll, and Umbo Books is the website, umbobooks.com. But this is the dolls are called My Hero, and they were created from Matt's first deployment on the Theodore Roosevelt back in 2020. His wife was pregnant, and they purchased those recordable books. And I think he said they recorded 10 of them, and they were expensive. And I think he said like $35 for one of the books from Hallmark. And so, but he recorded 10 books so that when his son came back when he came back from deployment, he wanted to keep that connection with his son while he was gone. And even though Mason did not recognize his face, he definitely lit up when he heard his daddy's voice, because he had been hearing those recordings every day that he was gone. Mom would play them in the morning and in the evening, so Mason could get that connection with him.
And Mom's an audiologist, so she understood how important the auditory stimulation would be for the child. That's where the idea came from. So when he came back from deployment, the idea sprang from that, and he had been writing children's books prior to that. And so they're like, wow, we should figure out a way to make this work for the deployed families. And it's really a passion for them.
So let me get this straight. The doll has the voice of the service member in it, and the voice reads books, children's books, to the child. Every night you can do that, and then the service member can also send in more recordings if need be. And I understand that the company is also working on a better way, a faster way to be able to send recordings, so that way it's almost like real time. Hey, I read this another story. Now you're getting another story for your kid as well.
Right. There's an app in development. It'll be out probably in April, to where you can record from anywhere you can get a connection, and it'll send the recording to Mom probably, and then she'll just load it through Bluetooth right to the doll. And you can have multiple books and multiple stories stored in the app. It doesn't have to be the books, it could be any book. So.
Right.
Excellent. And the dolls look as close as possible to Mom or Dad, right?
Yes. Right now what we have is two tones. We have a light skin and a dark skin. We have brown hair, black hair, and yeah, I think that's it. Brown hair, black hair. We've got bald dolls that are coming. We've got blonde-headed, red-headed. A lady asked the other day, what about short hair? So this company is brand new. Actually, we're just launching. We're launching here.
This is your launch, right?
This is our launch.
This is their launch.
So for you to ask us to be up here, it's like, okay, thank you. So yeah, they're just now launching. A few kids have got them.
Mm-hmm.
A few dads have already recorded books or recorded messages for their daughters and have given them the doll. And One thing is we'd like to, did we talk about, so some of the proceeds from the sale of this doll, Matt's youngest son has got a muscle disorder, and so he has to wear glasses. And TRICARE doesn't cover that, so they decided that 5% of their sales from the My Hero doll collection is going to go to help children, active duty military, get glasses for their children because they are expensive. So that was one thing. And I just wanted to say that the uniforms are very authentic. They spent a lot of time for all the details of the uniform down to the pocket. And they're still developing things. So they're going to also come out with custom patches for over the pockets. You know, because somebody said, well, what about the names? We want their names. Well, right now, you know, that's a choking hazard. So this doll has gone through all the safety requirements, everything to meet all the standards for. Excellent. Yeah.
I know I put a video, or I sent a video over. I don't know if Marcus, are you able to play that video at all? No? Okay, no. We'll play it later, but there are videos out there of kids holding these dolls and opening the dolls and playing the sound of their mom or dad in there, and you can see it in their eyes, and you can see them. You see them recognizing what's happening, and when you see a child that is authentically happy, they don't necessarily always yell with happiness. They get quiet and they just grab onto that item. And this video that I watched, and you can go talk to these individuals right after this, and they'll show you the video. If you haven't cried in a while, this will definitely, this will definitely put some tears in your eyes. So the reason why I brought them up here is we had a space open, and I walked around and I saw the different companies that were over here, and I saw the value in what they have. And you know, it's a one team, one fight. When when one of the parents deploys, the rest of the village, whether it's mom or dad or grandma and grandpa, or whether it's the wife, the uncle, they all have to come together to make sure that the unit, which is the family, is well taken care of. And we have companies like this that are going to help that, enhance that capability for the parents when they do deploy. So I want to thank you so much for being here and showing us what you got here. I really do hope that this launch helps get the word out there to anybody who watches this video and supports you and your son in being able to provide a doll for every child out there that needs a connection with their father or mother.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank
you
so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for asking us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks a lot.
Oh my goodness, we are here. ParadeDeck.com, the Military Influencer Conference. Amy, get. Oh my gosh, why are you running all over the place? She's running with scripts. You're networking. You're doing all this talking. She has just been ripping and running this whole morning. ParadeDeck.com. We have been streaming live. We are going to continue streaming live. Stay tuned. 4 p.m. Who do we have on deck, Amy?
Hey, these ladies are hopping over here on the parade deck stage. Let me tell you who we have. We want to please join us in welcoming three incredible influencers, Rebecca, Riley, and Riley, as they share their experiences in finding balance, purpose, and identity beyond military life, representing a unique blend of active duty, military spouses, business owners, and athletes. They'll explore the journey beyond the uniform. This is a conversation you do not want to miss. Ladies, take it away.
Beyond the uniform, form.
Well, if you weren't awake, now you are. Thank you so much to Parade Deck and for everyone for attending today in person and virtually. My name is Rebecca, and I am flanked on my left and right by Riley and Riley.
Riley squared.
Riley squared. Yeah. Our triple threat, triple R here. And our talk today is going to be, as was introduced just a second ago, on finding purpose, identity, and balance in our lives outside of the military. So we have a unique blend today from the three of us. I am a military spouse. Riley over here is active duty and a spouse. And then Riley over here is active duty. Riley and myself are athletes. This Riley and myself are entrepreneurs and business owners. And so we have unique perspectives to share in finding our balance and the things that we do outside of our identity in conjunction with the military.
Nice. Riley, do you want to kick it off with the intro?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I can't see y'all, but I see my two lovely, really amazing friends here. I'm so excited. I'm coming to you live from Baghdad, Iraq. So it's a little bit late over here, but thank you to Andrew and everybody. I really wanted to make sure I could meet with y'all. Just real quick introduction. I'm an active duty United States Marine Corps captain, currently serving here in OIR in Baghdad. In addition, I'm a member of Team USA Bobsled, a soon-to-be children's book author that'll be coming out in a couple months, and a military pageant winner.
I didn't know you're coming out with a children's book. That's news to me. I love that. Good for you, girl. I'm the other Riley. I am active duty Coast Guard. I've been in for 18 years. I am ready to retire. So I got 3 more years. I am also a spouse to an active duty Marine officer. What I do is I own a business called Pumps and Quips, which Riley is wearing one of my shirts right now, which is amazing. What I do is I don't make any profit from this business. I donate all of my overhead to an organization called the Coast Guard Tactical Law Enforcement Association. In the Coast Guard, I am a law enforcement instructor. So our law enforcement community is very near and dear to my heart. I also am an online fitness coach, and I am an ambassador for several companies like Grunt Style, Redcon One, Curves and Combat Boots, and yeah, I'm just here to advocate, help raise money, take care of our veterans and active duty service members.
I have never served in the military, although I did want to. It was my plan to when I was in college. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that has disqualified me from military service, but I get to serve in the role of military spouse to my wonderful husband, Joel, who has been in the Marine Corps for 19 years. Some of you heard him speak yesterday. But obviously the military is near and dear to my heart, being a military spouse for 13, 10, 12 years, however long it's been now. And it's also inspired my journey as a business owner. We own a fitness company and a nonprofit, and a lot of the work that we do is with the military community, serving veterans, serving first responders, and serving anyone who serves our country and our communities in uniform. So it's given me a great purpose to, since I couldn't serve in uniform, to be able to work and fulfill my passion as a health and fitness professional and work with the people who do serve every single day, and to be able to take the knowledge and the expertise that I've gained from my career and give back to those who selflessly serve.
Awesome. Oh, I love us. Anyway, so Riley, I don't know how you do it, girl. So she is a bobsled athlete coming out with a children's book. She's also an athlete for Curves and Combat Boots with me. That's how we actually got to know each other. How do you balance, and you're deployed right now, like that, just the cherry on top, right? So how do you balance all of that on top of your, like, leave, seeing your family? Like, how do you do it, girl?
So the answer I just give to everybody straight off the bat, and I don't know, everyone can relate to this, is honestly my faith. And I truly believe that I'm a very strong Christian and God gave me everything. And he's put things on my heart. He's made a way where literally there is no way. Riley and Rebecca both know I often ask myself, like, how am I here and how do I do this? And I wish I had an answer because sometimes day to day I try to figure it out. But the second thing I just really want to hit on with that as well is time management. I really focus on, my dad and I use the term, let's win the day, and win stands for what's important now. So I'm really every day prioritizing what's important today. Where do I need to be? Sometimes, you know, Riley, you know that's with our military members and it's with the Marines. Or Rebecca, you know that, hey, I got to grind in this workout session. I need to be fully locked in for this hour, hour and a half, and just really be where my feet are. It does come with sacrifice, as we all know, and you sometimes have to be willing to do what others aren't to get the results that others don't want to be. And so basically my mantra for anybody is, one, with faith in yourself and people who believe in you, you can do absolutely anything. 2, win the day, what's important now, grow where your feet are planted and be present. And ladies, for any ladies out there, we are too hard on ourselves and deny ourselves too much from doing the things that we want to do. Put yourself out there, and if you fail, there's friends along the way, like these 2 lovely ladies, that are going to help push you in the right direction and get you there. But yeah, what about you, Rebecca?
Yeah, I think a lot of what you said I resonate with. Time management is huge. Discipline is probably my biggest core value. I think discipline is the way that I've been able to achieve what I have as a business owner, as an athlete, as a military spouse, as someone who travels and speaks and works with different groups of people around the country. I wouldn't be able to do all of it without having that structure and that discipline and that time management, as Riley mentioned. So for me, I think it's given me that fuel and that purpose and the framework within which I operate and am able to get it all done. How about you?
Balance is hard. Being a spouse and active duty. Not a lot of you are aware, but me and my spouse aren't even stationed close to each other. We live 4 hours apart. So what we do is we kind of, during the week, I'm in Charleston, South Carolina, and he's up at Camp Lejeune. So during the week, we just take time for ourselves. That's why I started a business, because I didn't want to just sit in my own thoughts. When I was stationed in New Orleans and he was still up in North Carolina, I did go through a bit of a depression spurt, and I never want to be back in that position ever again, because it was awful. So we finally got stationed together, and then I advanced literally within 6 months, and I had to move again. So it's super tough, and it sucks when Coast Guard is a branch of the military, 14 USC 101, look it up. But we are not under the Department of Defense. We're under the Department of Homeland Security. So DHS and DOD don't recognize that. They kind of don't recognize that we're dual military. So we also have to figure out that struggle of trying to get stationed together. Luckily, I retire in 3 years. So we won't have to worry about that ever again. But not only do we have to find balance with our work, we have to find balance in our marriage as well. So during the weekends, even though we only have maybe 2 days a week together, we make that time for each other. And you just have to be in a good marriage where you're very understanding of what the other person goes through. I don't think a lot of men would understand what I do, being in law enforcement, being an instructor, and I don't think a lot of women would understand what my husband does either. So finding that balance also comes with a good understanding of your spouse, and then you can make it through anything. So
Totally agree. And my husband and I have talked about this many times over the years, but being in a military relationship, a military marriage, is obviously not easy. It comes with a lot of sacrifice. But one of the things that we discussed early on is that a marriage, and this isn't just exclusive to military relationships, but a relationship should not be 50% and 50%. Each person should be 100%. And then together you're that much more powerful, that much stronger. So it's not a 50-50, it's 100 and 100, meaning that each person can also function, operate independent of the other person. And I think that's really powerful, and that's something that's really helped me along my journey to be obviously enjoying the time we have together, although we have spent a lot of time apart, but also to be able to thrive, not just to survive, but to thrive when he's not there and when I am pursuing my own endeavors independent of our relationship.
And the fact that both of our spouses are here in the audience right now is really awesome. Like, the support is just there. So thank you guys for being here.
And speaking of dual military, I am curious, Riley, how has it been for you, being that you're active duty and also a spouse? How have you found that identity as just being Riley and not Kagan's wife?
Ooh. Well, before I met Kagan, I was like the influencer. So a YouTube video of me went viral when I was a drill instructor. So people recognized me from the YouTube video. So I kind of already established my identity before I met Kagan. And then Kagan, like, you do not see behind the scenes how hard this man works. Like, it is insane. He's up at 5 a.m. making videos. He goes and works his active duty job. Like, a lot of these content creators don't do the things that he does. They are not active duty. They're not in charge of a bunch of people. Like, they don't have an actual, I shouldn't say an actual job. That's like really messed up. Sorry. But an active duty job, he's still fulfilling and excelling at. And then he comes home and keeps popping out content until maybe 9:30 at night. Like, he has established himself in the right way. So we both have just established ourselves. Luckily, it's weird now being like, oh, you're Kagan's wife instead of, oh, you're Riley. But that's okay. I see the hard work that he puts into it, and I'm actually proud to be Kagan's wife. So I'm established. I have my own, shut up. I have my own business. I have my own ventures. He has his own business. He has his own ventures. And we just support each other. That's all you can do is just support each other.
Love that. Support is mandatory. Turning it back over to other Riley on my left, I would love for you to share. I'm sure the audience is really curious too, to know how, with all the different things that you do, some of them, Team USA, bobsled, and being in the military and traveling and all the things when you're back home, but how do you leverage all the different avenues in which you operate to boost them, to help to get the synergy between them and leverage one to help the others?
Absolutely. I think something that we really wanted, the three of us really wanted to talk about on this session was what we do outside of the uniform and how that makes us better in all kinds of capacities. So how being better for Riley and I in uniform works, and then Rebecca with the uniform that you put on and weightlifting and the uniform that you put on at work. I think being multifaceted and doing multiple things is something that's becoming more and more normal for women, as we're seeing this awesome trend that women are doing more with what they have. And so what I'm trying to do is just continue to find my calling and things that are put on my heart and continue to take it. I think where a lot of people go wrong is where their identity becomes what they are, right? So I'm a military spouse, that is my identity. I'm in the Marine Corps, that's my identity. I'm a bobsled, that's my identity. But like we all know, at some point, that might change. And when that changes, what does that really mean for you? So my big thing is everything that you do is not who you are. I am a Marine. I'm a bobsledder, I'm an athlete, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm all these things, but that is not where my identity lies. My identity lies as me being Riley, and all those things are something that I do. I can continue to do it, or I can continue not to do it, but that I don't put so much in that where I lose myself when that goes away. I will say, as a whole, my goal is just to be a better person and to make this world a better place the best I can, and I think by just doing as many things as possible and trying to be a positive light, naturally you're going to have that and be able to impact people. So I just really want to encourage people, you don't have to be the best at something to get involved in it. So when I decided to do the sport of bobsled, I never bobsled in my entire life. I was a Division I softball player, and I decided to put myself out there. and by the grace of God and the skills and talents and everything, like the path worked out for me. But just because you're not the best at something doesn't mean that's not something that you can invest in and earn a piece of your identity that you can have, because you'll be able to positively impact anywhere, anything and anyone, anywhere you go.
So, to you, Rebecca, how do you, because you are a military spouse, and like Riley was saying, like a lot of spouses, like they hold on to that title and they make it their identity. You don't. And I think that's amazing. I think that's why I like you so much. So explain how you don't hold on to that title and you like made your own identity.
I think similar to what you said earlier is that I've had that purpose before I met Joel. He helped me in a lot of ways to find myself and guide me when I struggled with my own belief in myself and self-worth and everything. But being a military spouse is kind of just an added bonus, but it's not something I rely on. It's not something that I need to fall back on. It's more just there's a lot of perks involved. There's a lot of challenges involved, but I make sure that I have my own identity, my own purpose aside from the affiliation that I have with the military. Obviously, it's going to dictate where we live. Sometimes we've also made choices to be apart for my own career advancement. And I think that's another aspect where it's not the path that everyone should choose, and it's probably not the path most spouses would choose. But there have been times throughout our time together that he was on the East Coast and I was on the West Coast because I had career advancement opportunities before I became an entrepreneur and I worked for a company. I chose to be apart from him because we agreed early on that his being a Marine, it was not going to impede my desire for growth and my career advancement in the ways that I wanted to grow and thrive in my environment. So we made that choice, we made that sacrifice. It was challenging, but it allowed me to grow and find my own self, my own identity. So I think that's probably where that comes from. And then also being a competitive athlete and just having other things to focus on that take up a lot of time and energy. I didn't have time to sit there and be sad when he was deployed, and I would just bury myself in other things to keep me busy and to give me that purpose.
Awesome. I love it. So, okay, going back to Riley. So, not to like point you out or anything, but you are the one without the spouse here. So how hard is it being so amazing? I'm just going to throw that out there. With all of these ventures that you do, like how hard is it to find somebody that you could potentially see like starting a future with as an active duty member, an athlete, an advocate? How do you go about that?
I think something that's difficult for all of us sitting here is we're very, maybe lack of a better term, alpha women that have big goals, careers, desires, and aspirations, and trying to meet a partner that can meet you right where you are is something that's difficult. You know, you have one spouse here that's also been in service, you have one that hasn't. It doesn't mean either of you, one of you is better than the other, but it means that you can relate on different things, and maybe you can't. You have some freedom and flexibility where you don't. So I really believe everything is a give and take. For me, the way I see it is being a female Marine, there's only less than 9% of officers in the Marine Corps are women. It does make that a little bit more challenging to look for. And I would say I'm not super keen on whether or not someone is in the military or is not in the military, but really, can this person support me as a woman and all the identity that I hold? Will they encourage me and want me to keep going on the path that I would like to, because I have goals, dreams, and aspirations to make this world a better place? And if that's in uniform with the Marine Corps, if that's in uniform with Team USA, you know, I think it's just important to have that spouse that's going to be there to support you the whole way through. And like both of you talked about, have that identity that's separate from your spouse. It does not mean that sometimes that doesn't mesh together, because that's the best part of it, is when you can support each other like simultaneously. And sometimes that has the strength of being apart to make sure that, hey, men and women were equals as partners. And I think that's a common theme that I'm seeing amongst the three of us, and something that I look at y'all's two relationships that I admire more than anything and I look up to is I truly think it's an equal partnership where you guys view each other as equals and as partners that are running this beautiful race of life together. And that's really what you need to search for. However, back to your point, Riley, it is very difficult for men that aren't in the military to understand what women do in the military. But I'm hopeful that with the right person, they're going to be able to understand and wrap their head around it.
I mean, you're super. Hello? Okay, sorry. I mean, you're super amazing, and the guy that's going to end up with you, like, they better watch out. So I'm just kidding.
We are open to answer any questions that you guys have. We did get one question on the app. We'll save that for the end. But anyone here have any questions for us? My lovely husband.
I'll start it off. So, as military spouses, you get the term dependent, as because the DoD recognizes you as dependent. Dependent is, by definition, someone who depends on the individual who is a service member. One, what do you think about that title? And two, what would you change it to if you could?
I mean, Kagan's my dependent. That's what I think. So we can keep it that title right there, because I've been in longer. So he's my dependent. I think that's more for you, though.
So maybe I should ask Kagan, hey, what do you think you should change it to?
Every time I hear the word dependent, it makes me think of those diapers for adults.
Depends.
Depends. It depends on, I don't know. I think, well, see, here's the real truth is that because we're both active duty service members, we can't actually be registered as a dependent because you're only able to do that if you're a civilian. So in the eyes of the federal government, we're not dependents of anybody. We're just like, our own right. So that's kind of how I've always looked at it,
I can't wait to be one in 3 years, though.
So, Rebecca, what will you change it to?
I guess technically I am a dependent. And technically, the government thinks I'm a dependent. I think early on, looking back, I was pretty dependent. And I think it's the journey of being a military spouse that has forced me to become independent, among other things. But I don't, gosh, what would I change it to? Put me on the spot here. Family member?
We need a thesaurus right now.
I don't know. But I don't love the term. I think it has implications that are not the best. So I don't love that it's called dependence. But I think for children maybe, because the children are dependent on the parents. But I don't think for spouses I think that has a negative connotation. But many spouses do live up to that connotation. So any case, we're not those people.
Not at all.
Okay, I have a question. First, I want to say, as a mom of 2 daughters, the 3 of you are extremely powerful and badass women. You're setting the example and paving the way for my daughters. So I want to say thank you for everything that you're doing, for the example that you're setting for our daughters. And with that, my question is, love you, Riley. This is Janae, by the way. You can't see me. And so my question, though, is, we talk about diversity and inclusion. And diversity is, the way you would describe it is diversity is, inviting women to the party. Inclusion is inviting them to dance, right? It's making sure that they're involved in all of the process. So my question for you guys is, how would you define inclusion, and maybe give an example of an instance where you felt like you had to kind of maybe fight for inclusion or advocate for you to be included in an instance where you felt like you were being just there and not being actually part of the process?
So being in for about 18 years, I feel like as a female, I have had to fight my way to be like one of the guys. I hate saying the term one of the guys because I do like to embrace my femininity and still be in the military, right? So I changed that whole statement to be part of the team. So I was a drill instructor. I had female recruits, and they would ask me the same advice. And I'm like, don't be one of the guys, be one of the team. It doesn't matter what gender you are. If you are, for instance, Coast Guard, if you're out saving a life, no matter if it's a 300-pound man in the water or a very petite woman in the water, doesn't matter who you are trained to go out there and you are trained to save that person. Doesn't matter what gender you are. And as a law enforcement officer, we have women as law enforcement officers, and the men depend on us to have their backs. So be one of the team. Do not be one of the guys, because that could lead into other stuff as well. But I also do believe that if there are standards, we should not diminish those standards because of our gender. I feel like if you are capable of doing the job, I am a whole believer in we all should have one standard when it comes to PT standards, when it comes to like law enforcement training standards. We should all be on the same level so that we can all equally trust each other. So that's all I have to say about that.
Riley, do you want to talk about your experiences?
Yeah, just real quick, I think the biggest thing for me is when I was growing up, I'm 27, so I'll let you do the math there, but I never saw a woman in uniform. Growing up in Indiana, there wasn't any military bases, so where I felt like there wasn't as much inclusion was I never saw a female Marine ever. That just wasn't a thing. And when I talked about wanting to join the Marine Corps, you know, I was told, well, that's the good old boys club. There's not really a place, you know, for women, or maybe a woman like you, which, you know, you can take that for what you will. And so my biggest thing was, like Riley said, well, I'm not going to give up my femininity and who I am and change to fit this mold. I will be an officer. I will be disciplined. I will follow all the same things and standards and such, but I'm going to continue to be me because being a woman is my superpower. That's my gift I was able, like, that I was given, and it's something that we're able to give people that honestly haven't really had any chance really with that. And so just in general, where I've been seeing women in the past 4 years for sports and military is just on this amazing increase where I no longer, and not all the time, but I no longer feel like I'm the only. I now feel like I'm a part, and I don't. The seat at the table was because of the women before me that were the first, and we're starting to see less of first, which is actually a beautiful thing because now it's just normal. So when people like the Military Influencer Conference sees 3 amazing women up on, well, two women up on stage, right? They're able to picture themselves to say, you know, if Riley did that, then I can do that. If Rebecca started all this spousal stuff, then I can do that too. So what I think we're trying to do is really create an atmosphere where people don't even think twice about diversity and inclusion because it's been in existence. But Rebecca, I'd love to get your thoughts.
So since I haven't served in the military, I can't speak to that, but I have been in the fitness industry my entire career, and the weight room is my battlefield, if you will. I compete in Olympic weightlifting, and it's kind of to Riley's point that she just made, it's been a really cool shift to see over the years how many more female athletes there are and how much more spectatorship women's sports is getting, especially this past year or two. And to reiterate that point, in the weightlifting arena and Olympic weightlifting, it used to be the women didn't get into the Olympics in the sport of weightlifting until the year 2000. And this, I don't compete at the Olympic level, but at the national level, there were more female weightlifters this year than there were male at the national championships. And so for me, I've always just owned the fact that I am in a male-dominated arena, more so in the past than in the present, but it never deterred me from pursuing what it is that I wanted to pursue. I have always embraced that. I've embraced being strong. I've embraced being muscular, even though I get told I look masculine. I don't feel that way about myself, and I think just being a strong female physically has empowered me to stand up here on stage and speak to audiences, and to be able to throw 250 pounds over my head has also translated into confidence in other areas of my life. And so I wouldn't change that for anything, and it's my mission to continue to inspire and empower other women to lift heavy weights, to show up as the way however they want to show up in the world, and to inspire your daughters and the next generation of women to do the same.
Awesome.
I think that's it on time.
Yeah, that's it on time.
I have a question for you two, really fast. I have a question for you two. Both of you, we haven't talked about this, but both of you are entrepreneurs. Can you just tell us all just a little bit about your business really fast? Because I've witnessed both, and y'all are amazing, and I just want that to have a little spotlight.
Well, as I said earlier, Riley's wearing one of my, I wear oversized clothes at the gym. I don't like wearing that skinny, like skin tight stuff. So I wear oversized t-shirts, and like as a drill instructor, I would come up with these quips. Like some of them are bad, but whatever. I just put them on the back of a shirt, and like I said, I just sold them to military members, veterans, other coasties, and all of my overhead goes to the CGTLEA, Coast Guard Tactical Law Enforcement Association, so I don't profit anything. I just want to help. It's an organization that's not well known, so as much as I can donate, that's what I want to do. So.
Can you tell us the name of your business?
Oh, Pumps and Quips. Sorry, yeah, that's Pumps and Quips, quips.
My business is called Semper Stronger. We are an online fitness community, and we provide training programs and workouts and nutrition resources, weekly calls to empower people across the globe to build strength, to build confidence, and that strength and that confidence helps them overcome life's challenges. So that's what we're all about, empowering people through strength. And we are out of time. Riley, thank you so much for tuning in.
I love you. I miss you.
From across the world. Thank you all for joining us and for tuning in online. Thank you, Parade Deck.
This is Bill with the 24-hour critical response team. What's your emergency?
Hi, this is Greg Price, and I am a USCCA member, and I just had to use force to defend myself and my family from an intruder.
Greg, are you and your family safe?
Yes, we're safe. I followed the training.
Have you called the police yet?
Yes, I followed the instructions on my member card.
Very good. Greg, I'm going to set you up with an attorney who's going to meet you down at the station and walk you through the entire interrogation.
Go to uscca.com/safe and get educated, trained, and insured.
Oh shoot! Listen. So y'all not rocking with the best. It's your boy Greg World. Can't even say my name. It's your fault, Tommy. It's your fault because and it's Jamie's fault. She's the project manager. I'm giving her some love though. I'm giving some shout out to our producer Marcus, Jamie, Amy's signing her books down there, and I'm giving some shout out to Riley and the whole crew. They off on the side, and they're Riley gonna be like, Joe, how much can you bench? Joe, how much can you bench?
Not as much as I used to.
Not as much as he used to. But she said that's not an answer. But listen, y'all are rocking with the best. It's Parade Deck, paradedeck.com, live from the Military Influencer Conference in hot Atlanta. We've got former NBA player, veteran of the NBA, Joe Smith is in the house, everybody. #1 draft pick for what year?
1995.
That's a long time.
Got me telling my age.
Listen, it's okay. It's okay because we all are friends here. And then we got U.S. Air Force veteran, consultant extraordinaire, and went from the technology business. Now he's in the sports entertainment business. Give it up for U.S. Air Force veteran Thomas Davidson. All right.
How you
so
doing?
yes, so we're going to be talking about technology, sports, and life from the court to life's court. I try to make it about court. Okay. And then I was like, I don't like that because sometimes you don't want to be clank, clank. But then we're not going to just do that. We're also going to give an opportunity for audience members to ask Joe a question. Joe, your first rookie game. Describe it and who hit you in the mouth? We going right into it.
You jump right into it. I mean, it was my first game was against the Houston Rockets, and in 1995, if y'all know, the Houston Rockets had won the championship the year before. So their first game, my first game was their ring night the following year. as they raising the banners up into the stands, you know, they're getting their rings from winning the championship the year before. And, you know, it's a great experience for me as a rookie to be able to witness that. But as the game starts, you know, I have to, you know, kind of gather myself in because I have to go up against Charles Barkley that night. I got Akeem Olajuwon on the floor that night, Clyde Drexler, you know, all those veteran guys that you know, we all looked up to growing up. And, you know, I have to go up against those guys. So I kind of gather myself back in, get ready for tip-off. Tip-off, I got to go up against Hakeem Olajuwon for the jump ball. And at that time, he was a little bit older. So I'm young, I'm athletic. I'm like, I'm
19. You were feeling yourself.
You were 19. I was 19.
19 years old, talking about dreams. I'm going to get this ball from you. He's looking at you like, yeah, sure.
So, you know, I'm about to out-jump him. I'm like, man, I'm more athletic than this guy. I'm about to out-jump him. As soon as the referee throws the ball up, instead of jumping, he shoots me an elbow right to my nose. Got my eyes all watering. I lose the tip ball, obviously. Lose the tip ball. Eyes all watering for the first 5-10 minutes of the game. I got to go guard Charles Barkley. We going up and down the court. I can't gather myself. So my welcome to the NBA moment was first game of the season. I caught an elbow from Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon to the nose, and took me a minute to recover. Trust me.
So I'm going to flip it off from here. I'm going to go over to Tommy. Tommy, what possessed you to join the Air Force? I mean, where's my Marines at? Yeah.
And I'm
you
actually...
See, wait. I got to go down every branch.
All right.
Where's the Coast Guard at? Crickets. Where's the Navy at? Woo! You got that one sailor. I'm still showing love. And then Army.
Had a lot there.
But then you want to join the Air Force.
I did. I did.
Why'd you join the Air Force?
Well, I'm originally from New York City, but I live
I'm
from Queens. But I currently live and represent Norfolk, Virginia, which is a huge military town. When I was in high school, I was in Navy ROTC.
Oh, so you were supposed to go to the Navy.
That's why I didn't go, because I was in Navy ROTC. So I wanted something different. I had visited all of the Navy bases in and around Norfolk, had gone on a lot of the ship tours, things of that nature, heard a lot of the horror stories from sailors and things like that about the Navy. So I wanted to do something different. Most of the people in the Virginia area went in the Navy. So I had my cousin, and I will tell this story. Most Marines would be surprised. My cousin is a retired Marine. So when I was polling people, asking where I should go, went to a Marine. Of course, most Marines will tell you, go in the Marines. But being a family member, he did look out. He said, look, do you want to learn? You want to learn something? You want to learn how to hurt people? He said, you want to learn something? Go in the Air Force. Want to learn how to hurt people? Go to the Marines. So my mother overheard this conversation, and her being a school teacher, she said, you're going in the Air Force. Hence, I went in the Air Force. So I enjoyed. I was stationed at Dover Air Force Base the whole time I was in. So learned a lot, got a chance to experience a lot. But that's why I went to the Air Force.
All right. So clap it up if y'all can, because this is with the start of the NBA career, start of your military career, and that's how we're going to go back and forth, and then we're going to go to the audience for questions. So, Joe, throughout your whole entire career, I mean, you played against Jordan.
Yes.
You played against Kobe.
Yes.
Played with him.
Played with him.
Yep.
You played against LeBron.
Yes.
Played with him.
Played with LeBron.
Yes.
Out of all three.
Oh.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Who was the hardest to guard? Who was the fastest on their feet? And who would you really have liked to end your career if you could have ended your career playing with them? So who was the hardest to guard?
The hardest to guard, obviously, MJ. Michael Jordan, the hardest to guard. I mean, because of his knowledge of the game, because he knew how to create space, because of his footwork, and because he was obviously one of the best scorers that ever put on a NBA uniform. You know, he's obviously.
Did he ever talk something to you?
He never talked trash to me, but he gave me some words of wisdom after my rookie year. My rookie year after we played them out in Oakland when I was with the Warriors, was coming off the court. He gave me some words of wisdom, and I took it, kind of took that in stride, the rest of my career.
Fastest on their feet.
Fastest on their feet,
LeBron or
LeBron.
Kobe? Really?
LeBron, for his size, is the fastest guy I've seen on the basketball court. When we played together in Cleveland, I seen him go. You know how if y'all watch basketball, he's famous for these chase down blocks, where you got a lead on him and he come from behind and just block your shot.
Yeah.
So he did that one game, but this game he fell out of bounds underneath the basket. So he blocked the shot. The ball's going back the other way, and he's still underneath the basket. By the time we get to half court with the ball, he's already in front, ready, looking for a pass, ready for a dunk. So he gets up off the floor, and he's already. And we're running in transition now. It's not like we just walking it up. We're running in transition, and he's already at half court, ready for a layup or a dunk on the other end. And
So why would you have liked to have ended your career with Kobe?
I did actually.
I didn't want to go there, but I was like, well, wait, that's the last one.
No.
I did.
Hold on, why are you stealing my thunder, Tommy? One more and say, dang, Tommy.
I was like, I did, but didn't you really?
I mean, that's just
okay,
that's how it actually happened.
All right, what's your favorite Kobe moment then? I have to now switch because of Tommy. Thanks, Tommy. Air Force.
Like a lot of people, gave Kobe a hard time throughout his career, as far as what type of teammate he might be, what type of person he is off the court. But when I played with Kobe, man, he was just as genuine as anybody else I played with, man. He was great to his teammates. He welcomed me there. I got traded there halfway through the season from New Jersey to L.A. So he welcomed me there with open arms, man. There was a respect there from both of us, and I didn't see the Kobe that everyone else, talked about. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun being on that team. I grew up a Lakers fan, and I always wanted to wear that Lakers jersey. So for me to end my career, that was special.
Wow. Clap that for that. End it off. LA time. Now listen, Thomas.
Yes, sir.
You left the Air Force.
I did.
You had a cushy gig. You were literally Chair Force Tommy.
Yep.
How you doing?
I was.
Now hold on. Before we have the transition, let everybody know what you did in the Air Force, and then what'd you transition to?
I worked in the MPF in customer
Nobody
service.
can hear you, Tommy.
Sorry, worked in
Thank
the MPF in customer service.
He new to this, y'all.
Yeah, new to this. I'm usually I'm the behind the scenes guy, but no, that's what I did originally. Did that for 8 years. It was a huge experience for me working at Dover because if you don't know, most folks do know, it's the National Mortuary. So I dealt with a lot of family planning, ordering flags, counseling, just helping our servicemen with their benefits, things like that. So you realize those little things are so important when they come into your office. And I say this, so I think I'm the oldest one up here, I think. So yeah, I was working.
Tell on yourself if you want.
Yeah, I was working in
Stallionalicious is
Right.
still pretty and young.
When I was working there, we didn't have computers. Yes, so it had to do the old filing, the old filing and stacking aspect to customer service. So
Wait, was your pay stub like paper?
Yeah, man.
Dang.
Bro. Yeah.
No, my pay.
Yeah. Yep. It was. So yeah, So with that, I learned a lot. Be able to understand customer service quite a bit. The other thing I was able to do is be able to talk to folks in different branches, if nothing else. Even though we are at an Air Force base and we are helping our Air Force servicemen and women, we were also had to go service other areas and talk to other folks as well. So being able to talk to Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Army, National Guardsmen, to understand the difference between an Air Force reservist and a National Guardsman and what they go through. Sometimes, for them, realize they get called for state emergencies and they have to deal with that as well, and that's a mental space for them as well. So learned a lot. The reason why I did get out, full transparency, I lost my grandmother and my father 2 months apart as well. So at that point in time, those were two huge mentors in my life. So it was a huge transition for me, but that's what really helped me transition to where I am now in running my own business and being a executive director of Joe Smith's Academy.
Clap that up. Now listen, hold on. Now I'm gonna go stay on Tommy, and I'm gonna come back to you.
Not a problem.
Now the technology aspect,
Yes, sir.
consultation. How'd you get into that, and why are you still doing it? Because I'm telling you right now, you start getting some paper somewhere, and you're looking at another industry, and you're like, I can make more paper doing less work. I might want to do that.
Well, yeah, that was part of it. But I'm a nerd, man. I'm a nerd, dude. Believe
Wait,
it or
hold
not.
on. You can just because you wear glasses doesn't make you a nerd.
Nah.
Keep it-
I am
yeah.
a nerd. I did everything from my Saturday mornings were spent with a bowl of cereal and the Super Friends and the Transformers, and my father bought me, Star Wars toys and things like that as a kid. So, for me as a kid, my idols were Tony Stark, Bruce Wayne, and Spider-Man. Because if you ever notice, and I'm gonna say this, if you give me 2 minutes, Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne have no superpowers.
That's true.
All right, that's
Just
why
have
they're
suits.
Yeah. But they're rich
And money.
and they have brains, and they were able to solve problems with their brains.
Wait, hold on. That's why you joined the Air Force. Because they both think they could fly.
Well, we are kind of fly, hence the moniker, but I was a nerd as a kid, so I always wanted to be in technology. Had that superhero thing in the back of my mind. If anybody's ever seen my favorite line in Justice League is when the Flash asks Ben Affleck, what's your superpower? He turns over, looks at him, and goes, I'm rich, and he pulls off. So for me, that was always big. I'm big on comic books, so I was a big nerd. And that transition.
Wait. You're not a nerd. You're a blurred.
I am. I am
That's
to this day.
That is a term. It's a black nerd.
I am a
And
black
we're into
nerd.
anime.
I am.
High five.
My man.
Dragon
I am
Ball
a black
Z.
nerd. Yes.
I was wondering
what that stood
Dragon.
for.
Yeah. I'm big. I love anime.
Demon Slayer?
I love Demon Slayer. I'm a
Okay,
big
let's
Demon
stop, let's
Slayer
stop,
fan.
let's keep going,
I love. I don't know if anyone's into Netflix, but Blood and Sand is actually awesome.
Okay,
right
no.
now.
Keep talking. We have the
But
military.
yeah, I don't want to go there. I don't want to
Tommy
lose you
Khan.
guys. I don't want to lose you guys. But yeah. But that's where my technology itch started, from just being a nerd, and I got into it. But I'm a nerd, but I hated school. Go figure. My mom's a school teacher, so that's where that came from. But I was able, through technology, to take a part of certifications, things like that as well. I learned on the job, taking entry-level jobs, data entry-level jobs, dialer management jobs, and anybody in the collections and in the call center world know about the old dialer system. I was working on the old dialer systems 20 years ago. So that's where a lot of it came from for me, and it grew from there. Anytime I got a chance to learn something, get a certification, I got it. And 30 years later, here I am running my own technology company.
Nice. Clap that up. Always learning. Joe.
What's happening, boss?
So you done played against Jordan. You done
Yes.
played with and against Kobe.
Yes.
You done played with and against LeBron. And now you've transitioned to the Joe Smith Basketball Academy.
Yes.
Now I am going to give you your plug time before we go to the audience. So you can't say, Greg, you jerked me out of my plug time. Why did you start the Joe Smith Basketball Academy? What is it about? And y'all watch this. You're going to do something for military brats, right? You're going to do something for military kids, right, Joe?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right? Knife
Yes.
hand.
Yes.
You've been
Yes.
knife hand.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm done.
Well, that's why we're here, right? Yeah, that's why we came. No, but go ahead, boy.
No, but I mean, I saw the Joe Smith Basketball Academy. I mean, I started that maybe 3 years after I retired. When I first retired, I don't know how many of you go through this or went through this when you finish or retire from the military, but you kind of get in a funk where you really don't know what you want to do, what you want to, what the next agenda, what the next steps in your life may be. And, as an athlete, we go through the same thing. So my first couple years out of the NBA, I was kind of trying to find myself. So I was out in California still, just retired from the Lakers. So I started the Joe Smith basketball camps. It was just basketball camps. And just started training and working with kids out there, helping them develop their skills on and off the basketball court.
Did you have any of those kids go to the NBA or college?
Not yet, because when I first started, it was I had two girls out there that I work with constantly. Neither one of them, unfortunately, never went to the WNBA, but that's how it started for me. You know, I had two girls out there that I was working with. We were working on the outdoor court, you know, and we didn't have a gymnasium access at the time, and it was tough to get gym access. So we was working on the outdoor court at the time, and, you know, they loved it. They came every time, you know, with smiles on their face, man, and as they improved, you know, they found more joy in it, and that put more joy into me. You know, during the time where I'm trying to find myself, I was finding joy in watching them develop, and that's why I wanted to continue to grow it. And everywhere I went from that point on, you know, I came here to Georgia, and kept it going here for a little bit, and started growing it. I got up to maybe 25, 30 clients, and now we're trying to expand it even outside of Georgia. We took it up to Norfolk, Virginia. I went to the University of Maryland, so we're expanding up to the Maryland area, D.C. area. So it's something, man, that I have a passion for, and it's something I just don't use my name for. I mean, when we do these camps and when we do these clinics, I'm hands-on. Like, I'm out there with the kids. I'm doing the drills with the kids. I see something wrong, I pull them to the side, you know.
What is the drill that most kids fall at?
Fall at?
They just fall, and you just like,
It's the ball. The funny thing about it is ball handling. Yeah, because the balance. They get off balance. Yeah, exactly. They want to cross over, do all the other fancy stuff, but they don't understand that the balance that comes with it. So you see a lot of stumbling and falling in the ball handling drills.
Wow.
If I can give him his flowers, I will say this. I've just joined the Basketball Academy here in February. Yeah, March. Yeah, I've joined now as the business partner and executive director, and I've known him for 30 years. I've seen him play NBA ball. I've seen him play in college. I've never seen him with children until now. And let me say this: it will bring, not meaning to get too emotional, it will literally bring tears to your eyes. I've never seen him smile that hard. I never seen him smile that hard. The energy that he gives these children, it's second to none. I've never seen the hands-on, and it's not just about just showing them basketball. It's taking time out with them to talk to them. Are you okay? Hey, I see you're not. Your head's down. What's wrong? Like the things that he notices at the camp, it was amazing. And I sat back and just watched them when we did our first one, and it was really amazing to see. And I'll give you this one story. We had one kid who got there, and the first drill, he didn't feel confident, so he wanted to quit. Went to his mom, ready to go. Let's go. Put the ball down and ready to leave. So we had a couple of coaches talk to him. Didn't really want to get into it. And Joe asked him to try the next drill just one more time. Just try it. He said, I guarantee it, you'll do well at it. The kid tried it, and the other kid started coaching him. And little did we know, Joe had already told the kid, hey, look, encourage him when he comes back in here so he can feel like a part of you guys, because he doesn't have the same skill level. Kids didn't joke him, make fun of him. They fell right in and started clapping for him, congratulating him, cheering for him to dribble down the court. And I'm standing up at the top watching all of this from the gym, and it literally brought tears to my eyes just watching that, because I watched the little boy look over at his mother and have the biggest smile on his face like, I got it. And he fell back in line, and next thing you know, it was 2 hours later, and he's signing stuff and waving, telling everybody thank you. So seeing things like that really made me understand what we're doing, not only just from a basketball level, but from a life level as well. So I wanted to add that, because he doesn't give himself that type of credit, but I wanted to get that and really be able to project that out to everyone of what we're doing at the Academy, because you hear all the AAU stories and things like that as well. We're a fundamental basketball camp. So when you come to us, you're going to learn fundamentals. You're going to have fun and have a good time. Get a chance to hang out with Joe and some great coaches that we have around us as well.
Nice. All right. So I'm going to do something crazy. Y'all just going to sit there.
Yes, sir.
Watch this. Paratrooper jump. Hi, I'm back. Y'all just see my forehead is big. I know this. So we are now in the crowd. Who wants to talk? Oh, hi. Who's got a question for Joe? Because I told you, okay, I got one, and who's the second one? Because I need to go in order, because I don't want, okay, you just going to start right here.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Tommy.
Hello.
I'd like to learn more about the podcast.
Oh,
and what
great.
that's all
Thank
about.
you. Yes, we are starting a new podcast. We are actually recording our first episodes next week in our studio in Norfolk, Virginia. It is called the Journey for Journey podcast with the host, Joe Smith, co-host this little skinny guy over here. But the premise of the podcast is to do just that, talk about everyone's story. Everyone has a story of how you got to where you are, whether it's being in the military, whether you started a business, whether you came from some neighborhood and you're an executive at a business now, any story, whether it's not just sports, but even in life and in business, we want to be able to focus on those stories and highlight those stories as well. We met a wonderful gentleman at Fanatics Fest, so to hear his story was great as well. So that's one of the things that Joe wanted to do, and hope I'm not taking the thunder, buddy, but one of the things that he wanted to talk about is, hey, Tom, I got a story. Everyone else has a story as well. Let's highlight those stories, and that's one of the things that we wanted to do.
All right, we got a second question.
One more
Hold
thing,
on.
just real quick. And,
Go ahead. Joe, you got 30 seconds. I got another question.
And just from those stories, man, we just want to try to be able to help and influence as many people in a positive manner as possible. You know, we a lot of people are ashamed to tell their stories. A lot of people, you know, kind of fear what the response may be. But we want to be able to, you know, give people that platform to feel comfortable with telling their story. And like you said, it's going to start with me and my story, which, you know, had his ups and downs, and go from there.
What was the hardest part about both of you all's transitions back to the civilian sector?
Ooh. For me, transition, it was really figuring out what I wanted to do. For me, it was really understanding what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. I will say the military had a great foundation for me, just understanding just life as a whole, but just overall what I wanted to do. But one of the good things it did help me do was focus. And I looked at different areas that interest me and really started diving into, okay, where do I want to go? And once I started doing technology at an early stage, it really just stuck and took it from there.
All right. So.
I think she wanted me to. You wanted me to?
You got another?
You thought
Okay.
she wanted me to answer.
You answer.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I played basketball. I started playing basketball when I was 8 years old. And I played all the way up till I retired at 36, 37 years old. So all I really knew pretty much was basketball. You know, I sacrificed a lot for that. I gave up a lot for that. I you know, cut friends off for that. And, you know, so that's all I really knew was basketball. So at the end of it, when the ball stopped bouncing, it was like, what now? And I was kind of, you know, lost for a while. I really didn't know what to do. I talked to a lot of guys that retired from the game before me. They all went through the same thing. And the good thing about it is that we have each other to lean on. And that kind of helped me out and kind of helped me figure out my next steps.
All right. Name's Deontay. I'm a retired Marine. My question I would ask is, in this day and age when you're dealing with a lot of young people, everybody knows everything is great when they're winning. What do you think is the most significant challenge in teaching and mentoring the young folks in dealing with loss and how to lose gracefully and be a professional?
In my field, sports basketball, I mean, right now, I think the parents are really affecting that a lot. I think the parents are vicariously living through their kids, and they're pushing them a little bit more than they need to be pushed. You know, at certain times. You know, I think I go to a lot of basketball games. I go to a lot of tournaments, and I hear the parents, you know, in the stands with more, you know, with more.
Get it, Tommy! I told you ain't gonna eat no mac and cheese tonight if you don't score 10 points.
So I mean, pretty
My
much
mama
like
never
that.
said
Pretty
that
much
to
like
me.
that. I mean, it was the same thing. So I think it starts at home with the parents as far as, letting them understand that losing is a part of is a part of life. You're going to have your wins, you're going to have your losses, but you're going to have to learn how to deal with those losses, and it's not going to be from anger or from anxiety or anything like that. You're going to have to learn how to handle certain situations and how to handle things the correct way accordingly to what's going on.
All right. So we are almost out of time because we got to keep the show rolling. Joe is going to be signing autographs and hanging out over there because we're going to start doing stuff with military kids. Right, Joe?
Yes.
Right, Joe?
Yes,
Right,
yes,
Tommy?
Yes, sir.
You ain't got no excuse.
Who said I had an excuse?
I'm just
well, no. One
saying.
of the reasons that's and to your point, G. That's one of the main reasons why we did come here.
Yes.
Me living in Norfolk, Virginia. Most of you guys know it's a huge military town. I would love to see all of you in Norfolk, Virginia one year. I would love this conference to be in Norfolk, Virginia. That's how big dreamer I am. But if nothing else, I would love connecting with vendors to see how we can bring you guys as part of any functions that we do together with veterans, how we can bring you guys over to Norfolk, be able to have a good time. We are a coastal city right on the water. We're pretty
so
gorgeous.
You're saying you want a parade deck event. I'll have to talk to the owners
Yeah.
and we'll see if we do it.
Yeah, man. If you guys have never been to Norfolk, Virginia before, please look us up. We are a beautiful
awesome.
city. It's a wonderful town. Please come. We would love to have you guys.
All right, what's the website for the academy, Joe?
JoeSmithBasketballAcademy.com.
Yes, sir.
Say that one more time because people
JoeSmithBasketballAcademy.com.
Thank you very much, Joe. Clap it up for Joe Smith, everybody, and Thomas
I
Davidson.
appreciate you guys.
Hey, thank you guys
I
so much.
appreciate your service.
We're going to go
Thank
to a quick commercial break, and next, I got some authors. Keep it locked, ParadeDeck.com.
Where my offer?
I love helping out veterans just because I've been in their shoes. It really does make you forget about some of the stuff you're going through for an hour, 2, 3 hours.
You know, there were a lot of things that were missed, birthdays, holidays, so it's sort of a reward for everything that you had to give up previously.
It's hard to be able to take your family anywhere. Like the cost involved and sort of all of those barriers, they kind of remove that barrier and allow you and your family to kind of eat and do something out and just cool experiences. I've seen the Islanders, I saw Taylor Swift, I saw Eddie Rogers.
I would not be able to go to these events if it wasn't for VetX. You know, being middle class, kind of work paycheck to paycheck like so many Americans do, that takes a little bit of a whole new world for me for the time that I've been able to spend with my daughters. You know, we go to different concerts, different plays, different musicals, comedy shows, real good father-daughter bonding experiences.
As a single mom, it gives me the opportunity to take my daughter and her 2 friends to experience an awesome live event that I don't think they would have got to experience otherwise.
For me, coming down to Shark Gate, that's a treat. I can't afford to go to all these things. It's great that Veterans throws tickets out to veterans and get us to come out and see other veterans and thank them as well as be out with them and their families as well. So it's a lot of fun.
This is Bill with the 24-hour critical response team. What's your emergency?
Hi, this is Greg Price, and I am a USCCA member, and I just had to use force to defend myself and my family from an intruder.
Greg, are you and your family safe?
Yes, we're safe. I followed the training.
Have you called the police yet?
Yes, I followed the instructions on my member card.
Very good. Greg, I'm going to set you up with an attorney who's going to meet you down at the station and walk you through the entire interrogation.
Go to uscca.com/safe and get educated, trained, and insured.
Talking about all y'all works. Let me know I'm live. Am I live now? You can't just say 30 seconds and Greg, you live. What kind of ship am I running here? I'm not in the Navy. I'm Army. We don't play on boats that much. I'm a liar. I'm also in the Transportation Corps and Civil Affairs and Public Affairs. Anyway, it's your boy, Greg Williams. We're on the parade deck. Listen, I'm going to go from Joe Smith and Tommy to 3 beautiful women. Not only are they beautiful and smart and strong, but y'all are some creative. Woo! It's about to get hot, heavy, and we gonna get in the nitty gritty. They like, yo, Greg, do you want to do a 1-by-1 segment? I said, nope, we just gonna do a panel. Welcome to the panel. Is there a script? Nope. We just gonna make it up as we go along. Anyway, it's your boy Greg Williams here at the Parade Deck, paradedeck.com, the #1 spot for military influencers and creatives. Big shout out to USCCA, sponsoring collaborative partner. Big shout out to TikTok, sponsoring collaborative partner. Big shout out to VetTix, sponsoring collaborative partner. Big shout out to the MIC2024. Woo! We got a whole lot of partners. Anyway, we're going to go down the line, give your first name, your last name, where you're from, and military spouse, veteran, and then your book. And you go first because I'm giving you the mic.
Hello, Larissa Harrington. I am from Newmarket, Maryland. I retired from the Air Force out of Fort Meade in 2017. And what else?
Your book!
I am also a co-author in The Military Effect, which we are here, and we have free books available for people now.
You go, because I got your book. You ain't bring me an extra book, and where's my book?
I got it right here.
So go get the book.
You see this? He put me on blast. I actually brought a copy for him. Uh-huh. So my name is Therese Garnier. I'm an Air Force veteran, and I can be feisty when I need to be. But I'm originally, I live right outside of D.C. next to Joint Base Andrews, and grew up in Michigan on a tribe. I'm part of the Chippewa in Grand Rapids, and I have my book here today that someone said I
Where's
didn't
it at?
have. And it's called...
Can I hold it?
No Longer
I want to
Silent.
model your book.
No Longer Silent. And it's a memoir about overcoming trauma and
Woo.
helping other survivors heal and empower them to start their healing journeys as well. So.
Why does your book cover look like an album cover? I would buy this just because the cover.
Well, you should buy it. Absolutely.
And we're going to put out the website where you can buy it later on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Where's your book?
So I don't have a book yet. But
Oh.
I have a podcast.
Oh, pocket.
Yes.
Amy, where's Amy? You know Amy gave the How to Write a Book
I
class
was there.
early.
Yeah, I was
You were
there
there,
for it.
and you're
Yep.
going to be there for part 2, right?
Yep.
Podcast, topic, theme, put it all out there. Promote.
But my name is Rachel Oswald, originally from Iowa. I am living in Washington State now, Whidbey Island. I am a Navy veteran, and then, as I said, I have a podcast called Your Story Doesn't End Here, focused on military mental health.
Nice. You see a theme up here, right? You see a theme. Taking care of your mind might be kind. I just made that up. Let's make a t-shirt, everyone. So now listen, I'm going to go down the line. Okay, even before Military Effect, what possessed you to want to just jump into the literary world? And what possessed you to want to tell your story? That is going to be my first question. For you, for the podcast, because I know you got a great memory because you was in the Navy. Hoo-yah! Why'd you start your podcast? But what made you want to just get into, telling your story, become comfortable enough to tell your story, and be a part of the Military Effect?
So let me go back 25 years. When I joined the military at 17 years old, I was a Turkish linguist, and I could only go to one place, and I knew I'd be there for a really long time. So I started working part-time at a local gym. So I was working with people on their physical fitness. I was working in the military doing PT leader as a part-time job as well. And what I found after years and years of doing this is that so many people are focusing on the physical, and really what we needed to focus more on is the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects. And so for the last 25 years, I've been focusing on this, and I work with high performers, people in the military, and so often they are trying to take care of everyone else and sacrificing their own health and well-being. And so for me now, this is my passion, being able to support people in continuing to do amazing work in the world, continuing to show up and serve without sacrificing themselves, without neglecting their health, their relationships, the things that are important. So being a part of this book, The Military Effect, is really about me sharing my story and also helping to inspire other people to take care of themselves and also take care of others, because what I've seen is that it's an either or thing for many people. They take care of everyone else and they end up in the hospital, or they end up burnt out and they're not able to show up and serve anymore. So how can we show up in a way where we are investing in ourselves and also investing in others? And so that was really important for me to be able to be in the book and share about that.
Nice. Now you know you going down. Go ahead. I'ma just be quiet and do the praise stomp on the side.
So what motivated me to write...
Hold on, I want to hold it. There we go.
Awesome, thank you. So what motivated me to write No Longer Silent, initially I was writing it for myself. I had no intentions on publishing it. And how I got started in the writing process, there was a pandemic and we all were locked in our homes for a long time. And so I had was trying to heal from childhood trauma. So I was talking to my counselor and I said, I want to go over this childhood trauma and see how it's impacting me now as an adult. So as we're going through that process, I'm going over all the traumas that I experienced. So I was brutalized from 5 to 7 as a child, shot, raped, and then when I joined the military, I was assaulted as well. So throughout this process, I'm journaling, going to counseling for this, and then Vanessa Guillen was murdered. And it was when that happened that I realized I can no longer be silent about this, and I will not be, because this is happening far too often in active duty as well as to veterans. And so at that point, that's when I decided I was going to publish, and I published it on Veterans Day of 2023 because that was the 10-year anniversary of me surviving being raped in the military. So instead of me every Veterans Day being traumatized and not being able to celebrate it like most veterans can, I decided to take my power back and make it a day that I can celebrate now. You will no longer have that power over me. And that was the message I was showing, that you cannot have that power over me. I'm gonna be proud that I served and all the others that have served with me. And now my whole mission is to help others who have gone through it. And maybe if they haven't gone through it, help them know the signs so they can help someone else that may have gone through it. So that was my motivation, to try to help as many people as I can. Now I'm gonna give you a little side nugget on that. Just about a month ago, I was diagnosed with heart failure. And I wanna say, it's such an honor to be here, to be able to speak to you all, because right now we don't know how long I have. So to be able to be here and share this message, I said until my last breath, this is going to be my mission. So I'm so thankful to be here, to be able to share this story and share, help encourage other people and empower them.
Told you we were going to go down this path. Now you can't return as a watcher. Your podcast, go ahead.
So 2019 was the lowest point mentally for me my entire time when I served active duty. 2019 was the year that I attempted to take my life. And 2019 is the year that I started trying to reach out for help and did not get what I expected to get out of mental health in the military. And so at my lowest point in frustration, I started a petition to the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy. And in that petition, I not only shared my story at the time, but I also sent a Word document with suggestions to the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy with immediate 5-year, 2-year, different things that the Navy could start implementing to try to make mental health better. But what stood out to me the most in that process is when I started that petition, people started reaching out to me and saying, here's my story. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for being an advocate. And these were, I'm talking officers, enlisted, people from all ranks, people I would have never expected, just sharing pages and pages of stories of really horrible things that had happened to them. And so when I separated from the Navy in 2021, I decided to start my podcast to be a voice for those who don't have a voice, because there are still people that are serving active duty, that are veterans, that are suffering in silence, and they don't feel comfortable speaking up. Bases are not safe spaces for everyone that is serving, and there are people that are being silenced or feel that they don't have the ability or the capability to speak up for themselves. So I started my podcast for multiple reasons, initially out of rage because I was upset. I've done some healing since then, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
So this next question is for all three of you. I want to get your perspective because I think each person on this panel has a unique perspective. What is the healing that can be done through telling your story?
What is the healing that can be done from telling our story? I think when we tell our story, it allows us to connect with other people, to know that we're not alone. And it's healing to know that we don't have to suffer in silence for whatever anybody is going through, to know that there are other people who have experienced something similar, and to be able to connect with other people, even if it isn't something that feels dark and heavy, it allows it to feel lighter for all of us when we're not carrying it alone.
I think it's a great way to take your power back. You know, in a lot of instances when something happens, like say for instance, if someone's mugged, people ask, oh no, what happened? Are you okay? But if you're assaulted, they automatically accuse you. And then there's that shame associated with it. And you start questioning, well, dang, did I deserve it? Did I do something to bring it on? Most people that are mugged don't think of that. And so having that, starting that healing journey helps you recover from that. That helps you take your power back. And it also helps you realize that it is not your fault. Just like if you walk down an alley and get mugged, that's not your fault. You don't ever blame the victim of that. But when it comes to assault, you do. So healing and being vulnerable and being open and using your voice is so empowering, and it's helping you take your power back and know that, look, I know what happened, I know how it impacted me, and hopefully if I can use my voice to help other people, like you just said, let them know they're not alone. That's what I aim to do, and that's why I feel it's so healing. But that process is using your voice, and it's been so instrumental, because I have so many people now coming up to me, men and women, who are sharing their stories, and we're able to bond and help each other. And just like you said, let them know they don't need to suffer in silence. And so it's so important, and a lot of people will suffer in silence, and you will never realize until later on in life what physical impact that will have on your body. And to be honest with you, I do believe part of my heart failure is because I bottled everything up that I dealt with, the traumas, and didn't deal with it properly. And that's just one instance of how that kind of trauma can impact you if you don't start your own healing journey and use your voice.
Yes, taking your power back is a huge, huge piece to that. I think for me, because my brain naturally wants to block out a lot of the traumas I've experienced in my life, every time I share my story on my platform and on different platforms, it helps me heal and process a part of my story that maybe I either thought that I already healed from, or maybe I just haven't uncovered that part. I learn a little bit more about myself every time. But I think from the podcasting standpoint and hearing other people's stories, not only do other people heal, but there's a lot of people that think that their story isn't important. I reach out to a lot of people for guests because I think everyone's story matters and is important. And I get a lot of people that say, oh, my story is not that great. There's really nothing important about my story. But there are so many people that will also reach out to me and say, thank you for sharing that story about the miscarriage. Thank you for talking about sexual trauma. I really related to this story. And people don't, like you said, realize the impact that their story can have. And you make someone feel less alone in sharing your story with the world.
So I have to ask this question. You know what? Say whatever the heck you want. Just don't be cussing. What is one resource or one avenue of healing or one approach that you were robbed of in the moments that you tried to heal?
That's a deep one.
Is anybody ready to answer that?
Oh, I got to think about that one.
We come back to that one?
Okay. Listen, we gonna go there. I'm trying to be like Lakita. I'll go down your street. I will walk down your brick road. Okay. Let's go to a little softball. Let's go a little softer then. And you telling your story and sharing your story and in sharing your podcast, you connect with individuals. You come here to the Military Influencer Conference. What do you come here to connect for if you already feel that you have a voice and you're already talking to people on the outside? Why are you here? That's softball. Why are you here?
The song from The Greatest Showman is coming to me, Never Enough. Like, that's the song that's popping up, because that's what I feel like when it comes to community and connection, that it's never enough, that it is amazing that I have so many people that support me now in my life, and I always want to continue to grow and be of service to other people and be in places where I can get support from people as well. So for me, it's not feeling like there's an end place of like, oh, okay, I'm good now. I feel amazing, life is great. It's no, life is great, and I want to keep learning. I want to keep growing. I want to keep putting myself in positions where I can connect with other people, because sometimes we don't know what we need until we're there. I didn't know that I was going to be on this podcast 2 days ago, right?
None of y'all knew. Yo, big shout out to Jamie. Jamie put this all together. She was like, yo, Greg, G3PD. So I was supposed to have the side stage. This don't look like no side stage to me right now. Thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Treese.
So I think for me, you know, as far as going through the trauma I did as a child and then again in the military, to be able to come here and share my story, meet other people who have potentially gone through it, and be that person for them that I didn't have when I went through that. As a child, I didn't have that support. No one believed me. We filed multiple police reports. Not to have that, and then in the military to be retaliated against, you know, have rumors spread, it was traumatic. I really didn't think I was going to come back from it mentally. And so to be able to come here and speak to everyone and say, look, you are not alone. I want to be that help for you that I didn't get, because I see how important it is to have that kind of support system. So to be able to come here, educate people who don't know about it, and then also be a shoulder to lean on for those who have gone through it and who may not have even spoken about it. That's what I aim to do, and I'm just, again, thankful to be here to be able to do that.
You know, there's still work to be done. I said that before, and I think it's so important. There's still a huge stigma surrounding mental health in the military, and I said in my panel yesterday that people will talk about mental health matters, and you know, mental health is such a buzzword on the internet right now, but people aren't taking the action to really show that mental health matters. And so until every service member in the military feels safe taking care of their own mental health, there's still work to be done. And so it's important to show up to places like this where members of the military, where veterans, where people that associate with the military are, because there's still work to be done.
So there's always the side of promoting your story. And there are different avenues. What's one avenue of approach that you take to sharing your story, to sharing the book that you're a part of, sharing the book that you wrote, and your podcast? What is your preferred method of communication, I guess?
For me, I'm on all the social platforms, but I use Facebook the most because for me it's easiest and I've been on it the longest, and I can connect with a lot of people that I've known since before I even joined the military. And so I love being able to share about my story, sharing about the work that I do, how I continue to serve. For me, it was, even though I'm no longer in the military, that I can still be of service. And so that's my focus every single day. How can I continue to serve and show up and make a positive impact in the world?
Oh, wait, and then I forgot. The second part of that question is, since you said Facebook, I mean, this is not fair, but give the preferred website, because you're going to get to say your website 2 times. So we're going to get this done at the 10-minute mark, and then at the end of the show, you promote it again. 2 times. So where can people find, you know, the Military Effect?
So my website, my name, Larissa Harrington, Larisa, 1S, Harrington, and Strong by Nature Wellness is my company. So on all the platforms and websites, it's either one, Larissa Harrington or Strong by Nature Wellness.
Okay, I hope you didn't forget the whole entire question. Preferred method of communication, what's worked for you, and the website.
So preferred method of communication, I'm a journalist. So for me, the last 12 years of my life were spent telling other people's stories. I understand the impact that it can have when you share other people's stories. So after 12 years of sharing everyone else's story and being a voice for everyone else, I said it's time for me to stand up for myself and be a voice for myself. And so one of those ways that I'm doing it is by being on phenomenal podcasts like this, doing interviews with a lot of different TV networks and TV stations, but also too just the community work. Like I mentor high school students on Saturdays, and to be able to be there, and they all know my story, and I said, if anyone ever messes with you, you come talk to me, because they're going to have to answer to someone. But to be able to do that, so I'm trying to implement that in all of the different areas of life that I'm, journeying through. So that includes mentoring high school students and giving them a little bit of that advice on the side. Or I also mentor college students, being able to share that as well. And so for me, people have to see a face to a topic or an issue. They hear stats all day long, but they cannot relate to that. But if I say, hey, I was a homeless veteran as a network news correspondent, people listen, well, what? right? So that's my preferred way of communication is through social media and just what I'm doing in the community when I'm volunteering. Now, you asked earlier what our website is or where they can find our products or our books. So you can find No Longer Silent on my website, which is www.terace, T-E-R-A-C-E, 1R, Garnier, Garnier.com, like the shampoo. And sometimes they'll autocorrect and try to add 2 R's in. But yes, that's where you can find it. And also on my Instagram, which is at Miss, M-I-S-S, _T, _Garnier, Garnier.
I forgot
Okay,
the first part of the
all right.
question.
Preferred method of communication, what's worked for you, what's been effective, and then you put your business out there, but don't put your phone number because we don't need nobody calling you at 9 o'clock at night. Talk about you so inspirational.
So I love that you talked about the community piece in person because I am still such a huge in-person, face-to-face communicator. I feel like that's the best way for me to connect with people. I also love being on podcasts as a podcaster myself. I'm not great with social media. People can reach me on social media. Social media gets to be a lot sometimes, so I don't have the apps directly installed on my phone. But my website is ysdeh.com. It does link to all my socials. There's a contact me form on the website. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me because then it goes to my email, and I'm a millennial, so I didn't grow up with social media.
It's all good. So I'm getting the 2-minute wrap. So that I give you the 2 time, one more time. You say the website. You've already said it once. We've rehearsed this. And again.
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be here and being on stage with these phenomenal women. My website is strongbynatureWellness.com. And can I just share one more thing? I just really want to remind the people out there listening that you're not alone and that you're worthy of being cared for. And so that means taking time to invest in yourself, but also allowing others to be there to support you as well.
That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you for saying that. And it's so true. You all aren't alone. You can find my book at www.teresegarnier.com, and there's my name spelled right there, so that way you can make sure it's spelled correctly. And feel free, when you order it, I hand wrap each one. And it takes me about 15 minutes, and you get bookmarks and affirmation cards, so that way you can take these cards with you and put them in your car, put them on your mirror in your bathroom to encourage yourself throughout the day. So it's a whole package. And so, please reach out. I always say my door is open. I'm not going to give my phone number like he suggested, but I
didn't suggest it. I said don't do it.
You said don't, like you said not to do. But, I always tell people, please email me, reach out, if I can be a listening ear or I can offer any advice on things I did. I love doing that because I feel like that's what we're here to do. So please feel free to reach out to me. And thank you all for having me. And it's so amazing being among you all on this stage here today.
What an incredible panel, even though we didn't know it was going to be a panel.
I know, we just made it up on the spot. That's what the beauty of this is.
This has been great. I love winging it. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for sharing the stage. You are both phenomenal women, and I love the work that you are doing. My website, again, is ysdeh.com. You can find Your Story Doesn't End Here on all podcasting platforms, on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and that's really all I have to say.
All right, y'all. Listen, it's your boy Greg Williams, ParadeDeck.com. We ain't stopping. We have more to come. We're going to do this quick commercial. And, we're going to get down with the get down, get on with the get on here live from the Military Influencer Conference in hot Atlanta. Stay tuned, y'all.
Now to our series, Profiles in Service, highlighting veterans and active duty members of the military who are making a difference in their communities. Tonight, we introduce you to one Marine with an Olympic dream in hopes of inspiring girls everywhere.
I love serving my country. I can't think of a better job than being a United States Marine officer.
Captain Riley T-Jack can do anything. How do you deal with adversity and challenges?
I think dealing with adversity, I want to do things that are hard. I want to be tested. I want to see where my limits are mentally, physically, and emotionally.
T-Jack did just that when she joined the Marines. Only 9% of the Corps are women.
My goal is you aren't the only woman that walks into the room where it's filled and you don't even notice anymore because you have a seat at every single table.
For now, the 26-year-old is working toward a different goal.
My dream is to be the first female Marine in the Olympics.
And will your day job interfere at all with your dream?
I'm a Marine 24/7, and that's my priority. And I'm just blessed and fortunate for the Marine Corps just backing me and being behind me through this journey. But at the same time, it's exhausting, and that's what makes it fun. If it was easy, anyone would do it.
TJAC manages work at Quantico and intense training as a bobsled pilot,
We're going to get warmed up really fast.
including constant competitions and twice daily workouts. Her hard work is paying off.
Jesus!
She's ranked 14th in the world. What's the best part of bobsledding?
Oh, the speed. The speed and the adrenaline. Going 90 plus miles an hour down an ice track and competing wearing Team USA across my chest.
Representing America as a competitor, a Marine, and an inspiration to young women and girls. Riley, what do you want your legacy to be?
I want to be remembered for how I make people feel. I don't want to be remembered for all the things that I did and the accomplishments and the medals. I want to be able to create a path big enough that multiple people can run through it and accomplish things that they never thought was possible and kind of create a roadmap to do it.
Well, Captain TJAC hopes to make the 2026 Winter Olympics team, and if she didn't have enough going on, Riley wrote a children's book about inspiring little girls to dream big, and that is out this summer.
And now, a special message from the VFW Washington office.
Hey, Pat, have you heard this thing about claim sharks? That they keep saying that there's no pathway for them to become accredited, so they're just going to keep operating outside the law and regulation and any kind of ethics standards? And now they're demanding that we not call them claim sharks? What do you think about that?
That's bullshit. Hey, did you hear that the claim sharks are sending cease and desist letters that tell us to stop calling them claim sharks?
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey, Chief, you hear about these cease and desist letters the claim sharks are sending us to stop calling them claim sharks?
That's bullshit.
Commander Sarmiento, I'll now turn it over to you for VFW's opening statement.
Chairman Tester and Boss, ranking members Moran and Takano, thank you for the opportunity to represent the 1.4 million members of the VFW in our auxiliary here today. Now let's talk about claim sharks. It's distasteful that these claim sharks take money from veterans, but it's absolutely disgusting that they take money from survivors. But we will never give up because we have the law and the moral high ground on our side.
Commander, I wish you'd quit beating around the bush, man. We've gotten less bullshit from you today than any witness I've ever heard.
Hey, is this thing even on? All right. Welcome to the Vet SOS podcast here live at the MIC. We're so excited to be here again. As always, don't forget, don't drown to see a transition. Grab the Vet SOS Lifeline. I am honored to be here with my co-host, Keith. How you doing today, Keith?
I am living the dream. Yourself?
It's always a dream. Always a dream. And we brought back former co-host and still, what do we call you?
I don't know.
You're on the bench. Yeah. The right-handed reliever. There you go. Eric Brew back with us today. How you doing today, Eric?
Brother, if I was any better, I'd be twins. I'm so pumped to be here.
You going to do your tagline?
Not yet.
No? Okay.
No, we'll get there.
We'll get there? All right. So we are honored to have a couple of guests with us here that are doing some wonderful things in transition. They're not necessarily known in transition yet. They're doing great things, and they're kind of behind the scenes in some cases. But they're doing amazing things, and a lot of you know who they are, which is awesome. And if you don't know who they are, hopefully after this you are following them because you need to be. You need to be connecting with them, and you need to be learning what they're doing. So we'll start. We got Kingsley Scott with us today. Kingsley, how you doing?
I am living the dream. I'll tell you what. I'm going to be cheesing from ear to ear, so I can't believe that I'm actually on the stage to get to share my passion and to share why I'm here. So thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. Love what you're doing, brother, and really excited to hear some of your advice today. And then, of course, we got Matthew Wee with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing actually great. I'm glad to be up here with everybody that helped me out in my transition, and to see everybody here in the audience doing this, just having taken that time to take care of each other and yourselves.
Outstanding. All right, so let's start with really a basic question. Oh, I'm sorry.
Before we go anywhere, Sean, pitter patter, let's get at her.
There you go. You need to come up with a tagline. Although he has a logo, you didn't have a logo on the show, so yeah, you brought the logo. All right, so let's start with probably a basic question, and that is, what would be the first thing you would recommend to somebody starting their transition? And we'll start with you, Kingsley. Just what is your first thought on that?
It's accept the transition. I know when I was transitioning out back in 2018, I still wanted to be part of the active duty service, but my time came to an end, so to actually accept, to let go. And I remember we had that talk like, dude, just accept it and just let it go, and just kind of, because it's like you're driving down the road, but then the wheel is pulling to the right, you're pulling to the left. Just let go. It's going to course correct because the road is going straight. So just accept it.
Jesus, take the wheel.
But I'd say for myself, it's perseverance. There's a lot going on. When I transitioned out, it was during 2021, during COVID timeframe. And when I did the transitional courses, it was online through WebEx. So I had to have that perseverance to just continue moving on and find my path to where I wanted to be. And like Kingsley over here, the time came where I could not stay longer in the United States Marine Corps. I wanted to stay past 20 years. I could not do it because I could not make the next rank I wanted. So just having that the patience, the perseverance, just to move on, and be kind to yourself.
That's awesome, yeah. And I love the perseverance piece, right? Because when I'm talking with folks, I like to use the analogy that transition is like a knife fight, right? So when we train, like when I train security teams as well, so when we get the knife fight portion, we teach them you need to expect to get cut. Going into a knife fight, you need to expect to get cut, because if you don't expect it going in, it's going to inevitably happen. And if you're not expecting it, you're going to, one, possibly go into shock, but two, you're at least going to focus on the pain of that cut. And yeah, you're going to take your mind off of the fight at hand. Transition is no different, right? There's going to be failure at some point in transition. That first resume review will be brutally honest and break your spirit to will to live almost. And that first job application will fall flat. The first job interview may not call for the job offer, but hopefully not all happening in succession, right? But yeah, going into it knowing that at some point you're gonna fail at something. So when it does happen, it's like, oh, there it was. Pick myself up, brush myself off, and keep on going. That's great advice, Matthew. So, all right. So, what would be so what's that? So, what would be the single most important resource that you two found in your transition that was available to you?
Well, the funny thing was I did not find this resource until 3 years after my transition, right? So, and I'm going to give a shout out to Alfredo's Coffee House, because that resource right there, I tell you what, if I would have had that during my transition time, it would have been a little bit easier, because I was trying to figure it out, right? As a CNCO, we figure like, man, we got this stuff locked in, man. And, I was a CNCO in the military, I got it all figured out. But once you transition, you can't keep talking that military talk, right? You can't, because they're not going to understand it. So for me, when I was in the Air Force, I did law enforcement, investigations, and career advisor. So I had to figure out in my 20 and a half years, what did I achieve and what can be utilized on the outside? And ironically, 6 years later, I'm the director of career services that help people transition to IT. And I used everything from the military, from Alfredo's Coffee House, from Matt, even from you when you came to talk to us, right? Like from me. Even from you. I was like, man, so if you pick up stuff from Eric, like this is phenomenal to where how it just all comes back together years later to see that the actual trust in the process. And that's why I have to say, just trust the process. You might not know the process now, but it's going to be revealed to you. Just trust the process.
All right, what about you, Matthew?
It's hard to name just two resources, because I could see in the audience a lot of organizations here that actually helped me grow during my transition. I could say during the COVID time frame, because I don't know how many Marines are in the audience right now. Yeah, but
go ahead, talk to your brother.
Nah, but I'm just saying too, like we are not stubborn. We're not stubborn people, right? Marines are not stubborn at all. Yeah, we could take advice from anybody in the world and be fine with it. But seriously though.
That's sarcasm for those of you that don't know.
But seriously, it took me just going through that motion of trying to find all these resources, getting myself out there, getting myself past the transition classes online, and reaching out to thousands or a few organizations to include 4Block, Veterati, Vest2 Industry, Act Now Education, Travis Mann Foundation, the Key Community, Vet CTAP. There's actually a lot more. Like during my transition, I actually did maybe 20 to 30 to 40 probably different organizations, reached out to still serving veterans when you were there, reached out to Alfredo Torres when I was in the Hampton Roads area. So, all these organizations I found, utilized, and helped myself and others. But I had to get past that stubbornness because I still wanted to, like I said, stay in the Marine Corps. Past 20 years, I could not get, like I said, I could not get gunnery sergeant, and that killed me. But I had to move on, and I had to, persevere and have that patience to myself, which was tough.
So I got an important question just for you because you touched on something. You said I couldn't get to the gunnery sergeant, right? Since you retired, since you've been out of the Marine Corps, how many people have asked you, did you get to the gunnery sergeant?
None, just myself.
That's weird, right? I love you, man. All right, next question. You ready?
Let's go.
You
brother.
better be ready.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. What was the one thing that took you by surprise going into transition?
You just hit on it. I was falling behind the rank, right? But once you transition, they don't ask you what rank you are. They don't care if you're enlisted, if you're officer. Can you do the job or not? Can you handle the responsibilities or not? Can you go and make sure whatever company you're a part of, can you make that line go up, right? That's why I say you have to use your resources, right? So if you're an NCO, CNCO, it doesn't matter. In the military, reduction of costs, saving funds, manning personnel. Like if you could do that for the organization that you're trying to be a part of, is a win. So that's. What about you, Matt?
What was the question again?
He's a Marine. I'm going to talk a little slower. What was the one thing that took you by surprise the most as you went through transition?
Like you said, too, nobody cares about your rank. Nobody really pays attention to it. It's just yourself. But that all these companies and organizations, when I got out, I spent time doing a fellowship, did a skill bridge program, learning about sales skills, and then also working with the Hampton Roads Veteran Employment Center. When I finally got out from the Marine Corps, did a fellowship with Hill Vets program on Capitol Hill, where they appreciated what you were doing, learned about everything that they're doing in the DC area. So I helped out with defense and veterans issues. And then also when I became a contractor, Department of Defense, it was amazing how they actually care about you and just more what you do and what you provide. And then finally was able to get a job that I wanted, was to help from Alfredo's Coffee House and Hope White with the federal employment working. That, like I said, the patience is the journey. Patience is what's important because it took 3 months or 2 months for an interview, 9 months afterwards for this position, and I finally got the notice here at the Military Influence Conference in Vegas. So
I remember.
Yeah. So it's just the patience and having that, the idea that, just being there at the moment, just being there for yourself and others as much as you can, just forgive yourself and just move on.
That's good. That reminds me of a theory you and I have talked about a couple of times, and I like to call it the matching clothes syndrome, right? Whether you were in for 4 years or 24 years, it doesn't matter, right? Everywhere we went, every time we PCS'd, every time we took a new position, every time we had new people around us, you either knew somebody, you were served with somebody, you had the same job as somebody, you knew people that knew people, you were at previous duty stations together. But even if you had nothing in common with the people that were around you, you were all wearing the matching clothes. You had something in common with everybody around you. And as you step out of service, what you guys are describing is recognizing that you don't match a whole lot of people anymore. And you got to figure out who you are.
You want to know something, bro? If you look up here, I just realized that. We all have black shirts on. Sean, you didn't even tell, hey, everybody wear black shirts today. Like, it just been embedded. Like,
it's in us.
It's in us. Hey, I love, just look around. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
And ours do, too.
It just happens.
So I love that question, too. What is the biggest surprise? Because for me, and it's going to lead into my question too, is biggest surprise for me coming out was nobody owed me a job. Right? As veterans, we have that sense of entitlement sometimes about us, especially if we did 20 years, reach senior NCO status or senior officer status, and we get out thinking we're entitled to a job. We're entitled to a lot, right? I agree. Our nation owes our veterans so much, but employment's not one of them, right? And we have to earn that one. And that was one of the biggest shockers for me, and it was hard for me because my transition is such, I won't go down the story, but I basically had to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up all over again, because what I thought I wanted to do was no longer available to me during my transition. So with that said, we'll start with you, Matt. So what would you say to the service members that are transitioning out right now that don't necessarily know what they want to be when they grow up? What would be your advice to them? Because the other thing too is, right, we can do it all. Right, jacks of all trades. That's what the military makes us, right? So we think we can come out and do it all, and we can, but employers don't hire jacks of all trades. So what would you say to the folks that don't necessarily know exactly what they want to do?
I'd say the first thing, like that, I went through that as well, and I had to get over myself and figure things out, and I had to utilize those resources to the point where that it just had to be done. I just had to be able to move on. I mean, like the biggest thing I keep bringing up is, the perseverance, the patience, and just having an idea that yes, you can do everything you want to do, especially in the service, you do everything, but you got to find the right thing you need to do just at once, because if you try to do too many things at once, it's going to get caught up. And I've been through that where I had the syndrome where I wanted to do everything, and I sometimes still have it because I like being that way. I like to be busy. I like to stay, volunteer. I'm here volunteering with, Vets Industry, Act Now, and even the MIC. So it's like, I just still want to continue to help support veterans and service members, and I do that too in my current position in the Department of State. But yeah, it's just you just gotta get over yourself. You just gotta take that advice. It doesn't matter what rank you are, you're gonna need that support and you're gonna need that help, because it's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen quick, because that 20 years, 30 years, or even 1 year will go by as quickly as possible, and it's difficult.
I know from my experience, being a senior NCO, I was coming to expect a certain level of employment after service. The young case I was like, I had to eat crow, so I came in as an intern, right? And a lot of people like, well, no, you don't need to go that route, but I had to do what was best for me because I had to build back up my confidence. My confidence was shot, because I thought I knew 21 years in the Air Force. I'm like, I know this stuff. I know management. I know leadership. I know this. I know that. But when I had to transition over, you know what they told me? You don't know anything. This is the civilian sector, right? So I said, I'll tell you what. I'll take an internship to show you my passion, to show you what I bring to the table, and I guarantee you I will not be here long. And what I mean by that, in that position. So from intern, I went to advisor. From advisor, I went to lead advisor. From lead advisor, I went to director. Right? So, and it keeps going, and I share that with other veterans and people that transition. It's okay to hit the reset button. You don't have to stay there. You don't. You can stay there if you want. If you feel comfortable, that's fine, but you don't have to stay there. But it's just to show people to take a chance on you, because somebody is going to take a chance on you when somebody is not. But in order for them to take the chance on you, you have to take a chance on yourself. So,
outstanding. That's such a great story. Yeah, definitely. Give him a round of applause. So, give you guys both a chance to brag a little bit, okay? Tell the audience, tell our viewers, why should transitioning service members seek you out and follow you? Tell them about the stuff you're doing and how you're willing to help them.
Man. And I'm looking for my support system is over there, and she's hiding because she said something is great is gonna happen, and then when it's time, it's time. So Hope, I'm just letting you know it's time.
There you go.
Ever since when I was in the military and when I was going through my mental health battle and struggles, I told myself I have to make my dash count. And somebody asked me, what does that mean? And I told them, I said, everybody knows when you come, right, the meet and greet, how you doing, welcome you to the unit. And they know when you go, send off, But what did you do in between that dash? And I tell everybody the most important thing on the headstone, most important thing on a plaque is that dash, because it sums up how did you leave that organization, how did you leave that situation, did you leave it better than how you found it? And that's what I told myself. I said, when I transitioned, I was down, yeah, but then like I said, when I found Alfredo, when I found Hope, when I found everybody, that y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Because everybody, yeah. And everybody has their story and their journey. I just thought it was me. And then when I figure out, like, yo, everybody has their story and journey, but they making their dash count, right? Because before I close my eyes and I stop breathing, I want to make sure I leave it better than how I found it, right? So, so I have my own, I'm starting up a little small thing, Phoenix Solution Enterprise, besides what I'm doing as a director. But I said I'm going to do confidence building and consulting, right? Because I know what it's like for that transition. So when I was speaking to my little daughter, 13 years old, she said, Poppy, what are you going to name the company? I said, baby, I'm going to name it Phoenix Solutions Enterprise, rising from the ashes. Because sometimes people have to see, you know how you have some people sit back like, oh, let me see what he's going to do, you know what's going to happen. And then when they see you rise, like, well, if he could do it, why can't I? So I just want to be that why can't I? That's all I have to share there.
I'm going to tell you, dude, as one of the very early conversations that you and I had, you were never going to stay in the ashes. You were never going to stay. Hey, you better be careful. This might be a new co-host. All right, Matthew, your shot.
So for myself, I never expected to be up here in this live podcast. As for those who know me, I'm not really a big talker. Okay, thank you, audience. So, never really expected this to happen. Never really, saw myself out there as somebody who wants to be in the limelight. I always like being in the background, because in my Marine Corps career, I've been at personnel administration, the training and operations with the security forces, and then the foreign area staff non-conventional program, where I do stuff, in the background, helping other people out, not normally worrying about myself all the time. I was a staff NCO. I took care of Marines, and that's what I did for 20-something years. I enjoyed it most immensely. So it's not something I wanted to leave, but like I said, I had to make that determination. But for myself, it was just finding this community of people from Alfredo's Coffee House, Vetsu Industry, and Act Now, Travis Manion Foundation, the Key Community, all these organizations that supported me through my journey. But what I'm doing now is a lot of my stuff I'm doing has not been something that I thought I would be doing. Like I did a fellowship in Capitol Hill with the United States House of Representatives. Not a lot of veterans on the Hill. It's something I saw during my transition, and it's something I wanted to support. And then I became a contractor supporting the Ted Stevens Center for Arctic Security Studies, being an event planner. And it was something I did throughout my career too as well. But where I'm currently at now, I'm a civil service foreign affairs officer in the Department of State in Washington, D.C., where I do a lot of different things. I get involved with many different organizations, including Veterans for All Voters that are here at the MIC, and different organizations as well. And then for personally, volunteer with many different organizations, continue to give back, including ones at my Department of State was my Veterans at State, Veteran Support Program, and all these organizations. But it's just other stuff too. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so I have ideas that I'm doing, or organizations and companies I want to create, and eventually do. But I just still want to continue to give back into myself as well, and learn that yes, you could take care of other people, but you got to take care of yourself first.
That's great. And I will say that it seemed like you went from, hiding to all of a sudden being involved in everything. Like I see you everywhere now. Oh, there you go.
All or nothing.
You're now the butterfly.
So what I keep hearing across this entire panel, though, is networking, right? The journeys that we're hearing and the things that you folks have done and that you're continuing to do, it's all through networking, right? So what advice, again, would you give to our service members or even our veterans that are out that are maybe just still trying to find their way? we've all heard it, right? It's who you know, not what you know. But what advice would you give them on what practical application would you tell them to do in making those connections and expanding that network where they want to go?
I'll say just show up. Just show up. Even if you don't say anything, just show up. What's that say, Eric? Hey, if you're at the barbershop long enough, eventually you'll get a haircut, right? You just gotta, yeah. you just have to show up, right? Because when I first was trying to learn this civilian process, I just went a lot of places. I just sat there and I listened. And I jotted down what was important to me. And every time I heard it again, guess what I did? I put an asterisk next to it. Another asterisk. And then I say, for me, I'm in tech. I was in law enforcement and a career advisor. And how did I end up in tech? Because that tech kept coming up and coming up and coming up. So I like, you know what? I need to go explore that. And then it took me to this path right here. So I just say, just show up. At the end of the day, just show up because you're there. And once you hear the information, you'll jot it down, and it's going to come back to you because somebody's going to remind you. Somebody's going to come back and say something else. And 3, 4, 5 people say the same thing at different times. Something must be true, right? Something. So what about you, Matt?
I mean, you basically said it. Just show up. I mean, I'm the one he's talking about. Where I'll show up, sit there in the background, and just show my face, or not even my face, my photo, and maybe say a few words here and there. But I say, I'm still growing on that. But I'll just take advice from the Hamilton musical. Just be in the room when it happens. Just be there.
Absolutely, that is fantastic. So I'm going to ask you both, because we all know there's tons of resources, right, that they can use. So I'm going to ask you for your top 5 resources for a transition, but I'm going to give you 2.
Okay.
Number 1 is they should seek you guys out. That's number 1. Number 2, they need to listen to Vet SOS.
Yes.
All right, so from there.
Yes.
What's your last 3?
Yeah, the last 3.
You go first, Matt. It's on you.
So 3 organizations.
That you would recommend people go to. No pressure, because there's some organizations here that might get offended. No pressure at all.
I would say first and foremost, because no bias, that I'm being their events director, Vetsu Industry. Then the Key Community, and also Act Now Education.
Okay. All right. 3 fantastic organizations.
For me, it will be ACP, American Corporate Partners, because without them, once again, I would not be here, right? So it's a little bit of everything, but they was the first organization that took the chance on me as me seeking a mentor, and then now me being a mentor to pay it forward. So I see how that organization is helping the veteran and transition community. And then, I got to give a shout out to Alfredo's Coffee House, because y'all don't have to go nowhere, because that's where the library is at, okay? So y'all come to the library. Y'all going to get pointed in locations where, just in case we forget our other things, but definitely Vested Industry as well, because Brian and I, we're both coming from the same career field. And I'll just give y'all a quick story, because I know we're running down on time. When he said that he was going to start Vested Industry, I was transitioning out. I was in my mental health phase. And I said, man, whatever, but I'm going to be in the background supporting you. But he kept pushing. Now, from 2019 to now, look where Vested Industry is at. Yeah. I mean, it's phenomenal, right? Because it's not just one person. It's not one person. And just like I met you at the academy, you came on, but then it's just building that. It's like a spider web. Keeps growing and growing and growing, because if I don't know somebody, guess who I'm going to hit up? Matt. Guess who I'm going to hit up? Eric. Guess who I'm going to hit up? Sean. You see what I'm saying? I don't know, but I know somebody who knows. So those are my top 3, right? ACP, Alfredo's, and Vested Industry.
All right,
Alfredo's
fantastic. Great list.
Alfredo's Coffee House, I'm sorry. You're welcome.
All right, so we're coming down to the end. All right, so real quick, both of you give whatever parting words you want to give to our audience and transitioning service members, whatever recommendation you want to do. Real quick. You go first. The sound guy's ready to cut the mic.
Right. Accept the process, trust the process, and whatever you do, make sure that you make your dash count.
There you go. I love that one. But be kind and patient with yourself, because it was something I had to go through, and it was something I'm still learning, still going through. But also, take care of yourself first and foremost, because yes, I like to do a lot of different things, but I have to take care of myself, and I'm still learning that. And you're still going to learn. It's been 3 years, and I'm still enjoying this journey where I go from wallflower to here on the podcast with Vet SOS. Who can think this? I don't know if the audience that knows me would know this beyond here.
You're going to be hosting Alfredo's Coffee House next week. Get ready. I thought you needed a break, Alfredo. Just a break. Just a break. All right, so I don't know about you guys, but this week has been overwhelming for me just to see how far we've come as an organization. We got over 120 episodes out. We've branched out into new formats. And then here we got over 27 alumni that have come to the MIC, which is just fantastic. It's been so heartwarming for me. And I owe it both to you guys and to Mark, who's not here. Eventually we'll get him on one of these things. But just the fact that you guys have helped us grow this, and your heart's there to give back, and how much you love this community, and all the guests we've had. We couldn't be here without you. We appreciate all your input and all your guidance. And I've told you all many times, my transition was smooth because I was listening to all your horror stories. You guys saved me and really helped me out. This podcast was a huge blessing for me, and I appreciate everything you guys have done.
I'm looking at something crazy. We're finished. Go ahead. What do you got to do? Hold on.
Hi, yes we are, because guess what? We're going to transition from Vet SOS podcast to the G3 PD side stage. Give them a clap, everybody. And now we have transitioned successfully from the main stage to the GD PD stage. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Greg Williams. Welcome to Parade Deck, paradedeck.com. Give it up for Veteran SOS one more time. Yes, yes. I was looking at Sean and his whole crew, and they're like, what are we doing? That is what you call a transition without commercial breaks. What's going on, Mr. Lanier? How's everything?
Yourself?
So I'm going to have you just tell everybody out in Parade Deck land, give them your name, the company name, your military history, all you, brother.
Great. Well, thank you for the opportunity. I'm Sean Lanier. I'm a retired aviator. I am the founder and executive director for Resolve Solutions Incorporated, which is an educational nonprofit that we help kids who want to go into military and or civilian service after they finish college.
So I have to ask you, why? Why did you choose this pathway to continue helping service members? Everybody kind of has their niche. What about this industry was your calling?
I think that for me, it's it's about giving back. I grew up in a military family, so it's hard to unlearn what you was taught as a child. So my grandmother was always think about the kids, think about the kids. So toward the end of my military career, I was fortunate to have an opportunity to give back to my alma mater by helping improve the diversity there. But what I found is when I was recruiting kids to go to Virginia Military Institute, I would find that kids going to Hampton University, West Point, Texas A&M, if I helped them, the educators or the people who are the influencers that had kids, the teachers, counselors, principals, GRTC instructors, coaches, those type of folks, you would help them identify students that were willing to serve, had the capability that may not be on our radar screen.
So I have to ask you, what are just some of the success stories that your company has, what impact has it had, and what are success stories that you have had?
Well, to date, we've helped about 530 students from 23 states to earn about $43 million in offers. We've had about 50 kids go to service academies, over 100 to senior military colleges, over 200 to go to HBCUs. Really, it's about getting the kid to go to a school that's going to be the best fit for them as opposed to who offers the most money. Some of the success cases that we have 2 gentlemen right now that are flying Apache helicopters. One is in Georgia, one is in one is in Texas. Have another young lady that's doing her dental residency at Bon Secours Hospital in Richmond. Have a gentleman that's graduated from Penn State Law School. Have another young man that just graduated as a cyber officer that's working on his master's at Virginia Tech right now. So the list goes on and on. We have infantry officers. We've had kids serve into all 6 branches of service, active duty, guard, and reserves.
So what are some of the barriers? What are some of the hurdles that plague, young officers or, junior enlisted service members that you are seeing today that you feel your company can help the military?
Well, primarily what we focus on is how to improve the college retention, graduation, commissioning, and employment rates. And we have 3 programs that we focus on that. Summer bridging, where we try to have an opportunity to have some funding for kids to go to summer school before their freshman year, get their academic confidence up, identify any academic deficiencies, teach them how to build a relationship with faculty, but more importantly, introduce them to some local alumni so they have a support network around them once they finish. After their freshman year, we try to have some funding for them to go to summer school to get academically ahead, or if they get dinged up a little bit, you got about 12 hours to get them back on track. That's cheaper than losing the actual scholarships that's paying for school. And then for some kids that are a little bit more adventurous, we'll send them overseas to study foreign language, preferably a strategic language like Arabic, Russian, Chinese, something like that for 3 weeks where they're staying with the host family in that language. This summer we had students from Howard, one young lady that went through Project Global Officer through DoD. She spent 8 weeks in Morocco, and then we flew her to 3 weeks for language immersion in the UAE, Dubai. We had another young lady that's studying engineering at University of Colorado. She came back home to Alexandria, Virginia, took 12 credit hours. Then we put her on a plane to Cairo to study Arabic. She's back on campus now. And then one of our more successful cases that we had a young lady from Howard University. She spent 8 weeks in Amman, Jordan. Then she came back. We flew her to Dubai, UAE for 3 weeks. She came back for her sophomore year at Howard University. She got an internship at Congressman Jerry Connolly's office the first semester. The second semester, she was briefing the Army G2, Lieutenant General Hale, when they took some students over Howard about her experiences there. So that's the type of what we're talking about, getting them on track after their freshman and sophomore year so they can think bigger and better and focus on those outcomes, not just happy to graduate.
Talk about clout. Talk about receipts. This is some real stuff, y'all. It's real. So where can people find you at? And where can they find, what's the company website? Where can they find all these resources?
Well, you can find us on all social media, X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can go to our website, it's resolvesolutions.org. You find us there. We're definitely looking for a lot of volunteers. That's why we're here, find some volunteers, because a lot of people, especially veterans, have a lot to contribute. It's not necessarily about your treasure. We do take dollars, but more it's about your volunteerism and just talking to students about life, about their own experiences. Definitely with the Combined Federal Campaign, where veterans, retirees, and government employees, they can volunteer hours. That's one way to record it. That's one way we're definitely looking for more assistance, because you got to understand that less than 2% of our nation is served. And that's shrinking, so that means you have a lot more students that's coming in, a lot more parents that have not served in the military. So there's definitely room and space for veterans to give back, sharing their experiences. Whether they're officer or enlisted, no experience is not invaluable.
Thank you so much, everybody. Please go to the website, and we gonna do some business during the MIC. Thank you so much, Lancia. All right. We're going to talk later. Okay, now this is the way we're going to end this stream today before I go talk to Amy. Listen, yesterday I had Stephen Peck on. Yo, you're here. You're not in camera, so you're not here. Now you're here.
I'm here.
Now you're here. Listen, U.S. Vets is in the house. I'm telling you right now, this is just a plug. If he takes my mic and he starts giving his story, I have no control over that. But tell everybody your name. Tell everybody who you are. Tell them about what is the new campaign with U.S. Vets. It's all yours. Take it away.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So I'm Jovan Bowles. I'm the National Director of Corporate and Entertainment Relations with U.S. Vets, which is the largest nonprofit in the nation providing homeless services to veterans. We're on a mission to prevent and end veteran homelessness. And so we're here at the conference promoting our Make Camel Your Calls to hashtag Honor U.S. Vets campaign, which is our Veterans Day campaign. So one awesome part of that for the conference is we've sponsored the conference bags. So you can get your camo bag at the conference. You can go online with us. You can shop camo. You can wear camo. You can share camo on Veterans Day. What we're trying to achieve here is, if you think about what the Komen Foundation has done with pink and breast cancer in October, or in June when you see the rainbow on a business and you realize it's a safe space for LGBTQ people, our goal with the camo print is to make it synonymous with supporting veterans when it's worn on Veterans Day with intention. And so we ask everybody across America to put on some camo, whether it's in your closet, or you buy it with U.S. Vets or one of our partners at usvets.org. You can shop online with us. But if you have it in your closet, please put on your camo this coming Veterans Day. Post it on your Instagram, your TikTok, wherever you are, and use hashtag Honor U.S. Vets. And then the world will know that you support putting an end to veteran homelessness. So that's what we're here for.
You're making me want to go shopping right now because this is going to make a year-round shopping bag. I am not just breaking this out in November. I think I might use something like this all year round. And it's fashionable. Camo goes with everything. It goes with caramel. It goes with brown. It goes with pink. It goes with purple. You need to get one of these bags. I have two. Too late. But listen, tell everybody one more time what's the website, and then I'm going to go on stage with Amy, and we're going to end this all. What is the website one more time? Yes.
So usvets.org. Go to our website, check us out, pick up your camo, and we will see you on Veterans Day, November 11th.
All right, thank you so much. I had to give U.S. Vets that plug because they're just so good to me. They're just so good. And here at the Military Influencer Conference, what is one goal that you have achieved by being here?
Oh, my goodness. We have met so many influencers here, so many people who are helping us spread the word about this campaign. Our goal is to make this issue of veteran homelessness a household issue. We want U.S. Vets to be a household name, and we want everyone to know when they see a homeless veteran who to call. And so being able to connect with all these influencers and partners here at the Military Influencer Conference has been an invaluable opportunity for us. And so we will be back next year.
All right, keep it locked, and I'm going to take your bag. No, here, this is your bag. All right, Amy, I'm coming with you, and I hope you're ready for me. Get Amy Forsyth on stage because Greg is coming.
I love helping out veterans just because I've been in their shoes. It really does make you forget about some of the stuff you're going through for an hour, 2, 3 hours.
You know, there were a lot of things that were missed, birthdays, holidays, so it's sort of a reward for everything that you had to give up previously.
It's hard to be able to take your family anywhere, like the costs involved and sort of all of those barriers. They kind of remove that barrier and allow you and your family to kind of eat and do something out and just cool experiences.
I've seen the Islanders, I saw Taylor Swift, I saw Eddie Rogers.
I would not be able to go to these events if it wasn't for VetTix. You know, being middle class, got work paycheck to paycheck like so many Americans do. VetTix opened up a whole world for me for the time that I've been able to spend with my daughters. You know, we go to different concerts, different plays, different musicals, comedy shows, real good father-daughter bonding experiences.
As a single mom, it gives me the opportunity to take my daughter and her 2 friends to experience an awesome live event that I don't think they would have got to experience otherwise.
For me, coming down to Sharkey, that's a treat. I can't afford to go to all these things. It's great that Veterans throws tickets out to veterans and get us to come out and see other veterans and thank them as well as be out with them and their families as well. So it's a lot of fun.
Amy, I'm here. Woo, I'm out of breath.
Greg, how do you do it?
I'm trying to get like you, Amy. Try to get like you. You the one signing books.
Yeah.
Is this what it takes to be successful like Amy? I don't know if I want to do this no more.
Greg, you're the glue here. You're the fire. You're the energy. And we're winding down day 2 at the Military Influencer Conference here in Atlanta. We have had a jam-packed day. Day 2, day 3 is even going to be better. But we had so many great people right here on the parade deck.
It was crazy. We had Riley Rayleigh. We had Joe Smith. You did your... Listen, I still can't get over the standing room only. Amy Forsyth and Susie, they were knocking it out. People taking notes. You would swore it was the College of Forsyth University. Something like that. It was just going down.
Well, you know, we're going to do another session tomorrow, Wednesday morning, 9:30 Eastern Time. Join us because everybody can write a book. Even you, Greg, we're gonna wait for you to
pressuring me, Amy,
write
and
that
I
book.
don't know, but you made it easy. But I'm gonna have to see about after that second session. If you've converted me, I'm halfway converted. I want to be all the way, Amy.
But you know, here on the parade deck, we have so many creatives. It's the #1 place. It's the home for influencers, people who have a podcast, have a TV show, have a message, who can deliver on that. And that's what we're going to hear a lot of tomorrow as well.
Yeah, and we definitely want to shout out all of our collaborative partners, USCCA, want to shout out TikTok, want to shout out VetTix, and of course, we want to shout out the Military Influencer Conference itself.
It is. The 5 I's, I keep repeating this, but for folks at home, the goals, the pillars here at the Military Influencer Conference: inspiration, innovation, influence, inclusivity, and impact. And everyone here, more than 1,500, I think it's up to 2,000 participants. Everyone here is here to support the military and the veteran community.
That's right. Now, tomorrow, if you are not logged on to paradedeck.com, like right on your device right now, tomorrow we got Amy, part 2. I want to be converted about, you know, just how to get a book out.
Yep.
Then we're going to have what's trending on the parade deck, Beyond the Battlefield. We're going to have Peyton Sickles. Peyton's like, Greg, I need you to sit with me. I was like, don't start nothing. It won't be nothing, but I guess it's going to be something. And then we got Teresa Carpenter with Rico Playa. Shelly Jeffcoat is going to be in the house.
Yes.
Daniel, the list keeps on going, Amy. It just won't stop.
Well, and you have a couple sessions too. So who are you going to be sitting with tomorrow?
It's honestly just everybody keep the lock. I'm trying to save my energy for Peyton. Peyton is actually the only female veteran sock-owned company in America. So she's like walking history, and I promise to show her a good time. And Amy, I'm just trying to say, if I don't do my job, just throw a book at me, preferably yours, because it's full of knowledge, and it might knock some sense into me.
Well, Greg, you know, it's another A-list day we're wrapping up, and tomorrow's even better. Kegan is coming back with Joel. They're gonna be talking about social media, community guidelines, and Rico Player with Ben Bunn is coming, and Teresa Carpenter. She has a podcast called SOS Stories of our Stories of Service, and you know, it's just a lot of great collaborations. It's like speed dating for
I totally forgot about those.
military.
It's gonna be jam-packed.
Yes.
Are we ready to do this a third time?
Yes, one more day. It is, we're live with you at home across the country, and for people serving overseas, we don't want to forget our troops that are assigned in overseas locations. So, and that's the great thing about the parade deck, is that people can come together in real time and collaborate, and be sure to get your account set up. Be a change maker, get verified. It's easy to do. Check us out.
And you could do it from a laptop. You could do it from your cellular device. Stay connected, whichever way. You could do it from your watch. It's that easy.
Hey, we're coming to you from Atlanta. Greg, it's been great hanging out with you for day 2. We're going to see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
It's awesome. Just keep on giving me lollipops, and I'll still be here, and I'll keep it nice and sweet. So, Amy, you got to sign off with, what is your motto?
Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow morning.